Cultfigga TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Mean of Revolution. Big U, the boss of the Rollin 60's, never getting out of prison. Before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform. Y'all, well, let's get right into content. The update on Big U. What's happening to that man? We ain't heard from him in a while.
To understand the predicament that Big U faces today, being accused of leading one of LA's most notorious gangs, we have to go all the way back to the start to understand how these gangs and Big U ended up running the streets of LA. Like many black families during the mid-1900s, Big U's parents were part of the so-called Great Migration, where African Americans moved from the southern states to the northern states to escape the Jim Crow laws and look for a better life. They were originally from Mississippi before making their way north to Chicago. In Chi-Town, Big U's father would allegedly get affiliated with one of the original infamous gang leaders turned revolutionaries, Jeff Fort, co-founder of one of the earliest major black street gangs in America, the almighty Black Peace Stone Nation, cementing an early gang influence in the Henley family all the way back then. Big U's parents would ultimately get separated during their time in Chicago, and in 1966, his mother would move to Los Angeles shortly before his birth. The family settled in an area known as South Central, this being the area where most of the early black residents of LA would settle down. More specifically, they would stay around 81st and Hoover, and according to Big U, it was here where he would first begin to rep the Crips, the gang which was founded in South Central around 1969, around 3 years after Big U was born. Founded by Raymond Washington and Craig Craddock, the Crips then spread further west by Tukey Williams, who would found the West Side Crips.
Because in the area where we grew up at, we grew up over there, was already seeing Crip, and was already seeing Hoover in it, and it meant something different.
Big U had a very large family tree who would all move to LA, and the majority of them would eventually settle near Slauson and Arlington, to an area that would eventually become associated with the Rollin 60's neighborhood Crips. But at the time, there would be earlier gangs.
We got here, the homies wasn't here yet, and then Van Ness Park didn't have no structure, nothing. And I think Big Bunchy was from Fruittown Brim. So it was like Fruittown Brim was in Van Ness Park. The 60's was on the verge of being formed, like it was just West Side Crips. And then it was West Side Crips and it was neighborhood Crips. And the neighborhood Crips was like down the line on the other side, like on Van Ness, like more towards where eventually like the hood took over. It was neighborhood Crips and West Side Crips.
This neighborhood is not only famous for being the home of the Rollin 60's, but also for being one of the main locations where the classic movie Boys in the Hood was filmed. Growing up, Big U would first become part of a small local clique from the immediate neighborhood called the AG, or Arlington Gang. Led by Big U's cousin, Chili Capone, the group would eventually merge as part of the larger Rollin 60's, who became infamous around the city of LA.
We was at every party, we was at every club, we knew where every function we was there. And it was funny because dudes would be like, where y'all from? And we from the AG. And like, man, what's that? We're like, man, it's the AG, man. Ain't no what's that. Then it's like, well, where is that at? Man, it's on Slauson and Arlington. Oh, well, y'all from the 60's. All right, fuck it, man. What is it, a problem? And then they would go from there.
Big U would get into trouble with the law from a young age, and already as a kid during the 70's, he claimed to have run with a car robbing crew, eventually getting sent to juvenile detention and spending a period of time on the run from whatever he'd done in LA and going back to live in Chicago with his father. But some years later, in 1979, one of the longest and bloodiest gang wars in LA history would start between the Rollin 60's and their former allies, the 8-Tray Gangster Crips. Sometime later during the early 80's, Big U's cousin and the leader of their AG clique, Chili Capone, would sadly be killed. Now, the more matured Big U would return to Los Angeles to seek vengeance, with Big U saying that at this time he graduated from fighting to guns, and he believed that a gun could get you anywhere you need to be in life. Standing at 6'2", Big U was an intimidating sight, even without a gun, and he would still excel at fighting, which was the main way that the early gangs would settle their differences. One of the infamous places where this settling of scores would take place was at the World on Wheels skate rink, which was far away from the Rollin 60's hood, but where the members would nevertheless go to make their presence known. One particularly big brawl would make the Rollin 60's infamous throughout LA County took place on August 1986 during a Run DMC concert in the Long Beach area, where Rollin 60's would, according to Big U, attend purely to start a fight and establish their dominance. The fight would injure dozens of people and cause the LA Palladium to cancel Run DMC's next concert in fear of escalating gang tensions. During the 80's, the county jail would also become a familiar place for Big U as he was racking up some pretty serious charges, which according to the criminal complaint even included multiple first-degree murder charges and attempted murder of a peace officer, but it seemed that these charges back in these days would never stick. But his time in jail would also help him further spread his reputation as a fearless fighter and a charismatic leader. According to the FBI, it was during the 80s when Big U would rise to a prominent position in the Rollin 60s, earning a reputation of a violent enforcer who was willing to kill. One article about Big U stated that he became the lead man for the Rollin 60s and got shot 7 times in the process. And during this time in the late 80s, this was when the crack epidemic was beginning to reach its peak.
Today, there's a new epidemic: smokable cocaine, otherwise known as crack. It is an explosively destructive and often lethal substance which is crushing its users. It is an uncontrolled fire.
Big U and the Rollin 60s would also partake in the lucrative drug trade. They would even begin to move dope from LA to other cities such as Minneapolis, Atlanta, and Chicago, where Big U would use his leadership skills to set up shops and take over street corners and influencing other out-of-state sets that banged under the banner of the Rollin 60 Crips too. This would also be a time when Big U would get his first experiences in the rap industry, as a rapper called Popper LQ would ask Big U to manage him, thinking that while Big U had no experience in the industry, he did have the qualities to be a manager and the respect of the streets. Big U's friend would also ask him to help managing a young, promising Rolling 60s rapper called Corrupt, who's now known for such West Coast classics as Seawalk and We Can Freak It, as well as being one half of the duo The Dog Pound with Daz Dillinger, the group founded by Snoop Dogg. Big U had also become a family man at this point, and according to himself, he was beginning to be one foot in and one foot out of the hustle game. But unfortunately for him, he would become wanted by the police. And in December 1991, he was arrested as part of a sting operation after attempting to rob 33 pounds of cocaine from an undercover agent, with Big U pulling a gun and attempting to rob the fake plug, leading to the cops that were watching nearby to rush in and bust him. For this, he was given a monster sentence of 23 years, with news reports at the time describing him as a leader, if not the top man of the Rollin 60s. This meant that during much of the golden years of hip-hop, Big U was behind bars, but he would spend his time inside continuing to develop his skills as a fighter and a leader. One story even circulated that he had apparently knocked somebody's eyeball out of their socket during a prison fight. Photos of Big U behind bars would circulate online as the years went by. During a Breakfast Club interview, Big U would even say that he was running the drug trade in the prison yard during this time.
Because I basically took over the whole little drug trade on the yard because I had money. So I came in and I bought all the guards who was bringing in.
But when he wasn't squabbling or selling drugs, apparently he was knuckling down and trying to also find positive influences behind the wall. During his long stint inside, he would meet people who would inspire him to evolve intellectually, such as Michael Harry O. Harris, a powerful LA figure who allegedly played a key role in helping Suge Knight found Death Row Records, and also played a part in the career of Denzel Washington. As a result, Big U would begin to read and write, as well as studying subjects like theology, as he would later recount in interviews. Meanwhile, on the outside, Corrupt would keep Big U's name alive in his music, shouting him out in songs like one of his biggest hits, We Can Freak It. Big U would also keep losing people close to him to the streets while he was inside, like his brother Dwayne Dupree, who worked as a bodyguard for the Dog Pound duo of Corrupt and Daz Dillinger and was sadly killed as gunmen opened fire outside of a recording studio. But Big U would eventually end up only doing 13 years in prison, getting out in 2004 at 37 years old. Conveniently, right as the Rollin 60s had become, quote, the largest black criminal street gang in the city of Los Angeles. However, Big U wouldn't lose sight of those positive influences that he had gleaned behind bars, and he decided to reinvent himself as a community advocate, starting his non-profit called Developing Options. Their website would claim that Big U started the organization because he wanted to provide the youth of his neighborhood the support that he didn't get when he was growing up. In 2025, the program claimed to have served over 6,000 people while having partnerships with hundreds of agencies. The website even boasts a 90% reduction in community gang violence, and the program has some major supporters, such as perhaps the most famous Crip in the world, Snoop Dogg. But Big U would also keep building his career in the music industry. After getting released, Corrupt would introduce him to the head of Death Row Records, Suge Knight, who would help Big U financially to get back on his feet and take him under his wing as a mentor. The two became, without a doubt, the most respected, or at least the most feared duo that the hip-hop industry had ever seen. But Big U's ferocious attitude to the music industry would mirror Suge's approach. Unfortunately, this meant that for the artists that entered Big U's orbit, some would have runaway success, but others would seemingly suffer sudden and tragic downfalls, which of course brings us to the tragic story of Nipsey Hussle. After getting out of prison, notorious Rollin 60s neighborhood Crip, Big U would learn how to play hardball in the music industry from none other than Suge Knight. The infamous blood who had ruled the West Coast rap game with an iron fist was rumored to have used murder and extortion tactic to get ahead in the music biz. From his violent altercations in the lead up to the death of NWA's Eazy-E to the rumored incident where Vanilla Ice was allegedly dangled off a balcony and forced to sign over his lucrative royalties, eventually though, the law and his enemies would catch up with Suge Knight's hardline tactics and crack down on his operation. But by the time Suge Knight's downfall had begun, Big U was already in the game game, decided to spread his wings and do his own thing. Apparently, whilst inside prison, Big U, along with his right-hand man, Mark Martin, aka Bear Claw, founded an independent record label, Unique Music, in 1996. Big U would use the label to scout potential up-and-coming musical talent, and his deep street connections would lead him to the paths of some of LA's most legendary rappers. It turned out that Big U's nephew actually knew a young, talented Rollin 60's rapper who went by the name Nipsey Hussle. Big U would begin to help Nipsey using his many industry contacts, ultimately landing him a major spotlight with a verse on Tupac's 2006 posthumous album, Pac's Life. Nip featured with Young Dre and Tupac himself on the song International, which gave Nipsey's career a massive boost.
Him and Big Draws put that together, and LT Hutton. They really had a resume at that time to justify it, but he gave me a shot. And a lot of that was based on the relationship he had with Draws and Steve.
And I remember buying the physical CD, seeing Tupac featuring Nipsey Hussle on the back of it. That was huge for me.
Big U later reposted a clip from a Diverse Mentality documentary on Nipsey, along with a caption saying that it was an honor to give him the shot. Big U was playing a major role in Nipsey's come-up, leading Nipsey to drop his first real single and music video titled Bullets Ain't Got No Names in 2006. Nipsey would get support from Big U through the creation of an entire Bullets Ain't Got No Name full-length mixtape series. But story has it that Nipsey wanted to leave a bad deal that he'd got into with Big U's Unique label.
So I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Big U, on the other hand, has explained in the Drink Champs podcast that he stopped managing Nipsey after a promotional tour when police discovered drugs in one of their vehicles. And although someone would take the charges, Nipsey and others began acting differently towards Big U, which he interpreted as a breakdown in trust.
Radiator cap off, took the apart, stuck us in, I can't remember where we were for 3 days.
I feel like
they took
setting
and
them up.
scanned it from the rooter to the tutor, found what they wanted on it, put it back together, gave it to us. I flew back home. When I fly home, we get hit. I get hit at home. They had 21 people. They think they got him. Anyway, make a long story short, he ended up turning himself in, take the case off all of us. He get life, right, for the drugs. When that happened, my team is acting weird. So I'm looking at Steve, I'm looking at Nip. Man, get a paperwork from Sony so they can see that we listen to all this. They acting weird. So, me, I'm still kind of like, hey, I'm hot, hot and heavy, but, I'm like, I can't with y'all. So you never see me on the tour no more.
That's when the problem?
No problem never happened. Okay. We didn't have a problem.
Okay.
Wasn't nobody making no money.
Right.
But particularly after Big U's arrest, many have theorized that it may have been Big U who was using Nipsey's tours as a cover to smuggle drugs to different cities, and this was possibly making Nipsey nervous and looking for ways out.
I think Big U was using the tour bus, Nipsey's tour bus, to at least sometime or possibly do drug drop-offs, pick up money, and it was making Nipsey hot. He was seeing himself about to take off. He wanted no parts.
Whatever the case, after the two stopped working together, Big U wanted back some of his studio equipment so his son could also use them to record music, something which apparently angered Nipsey.
That's when they got upset, and he made the song. I don't rap.
That song never came out.
It did come out.
It did come out?
It did come out.
Okay.
It wasn't never pushed as a song, but It came out. And I don't rap, I scrap.
Disagreements would lead to Nipsey making a diss song about Big U, a song titled You Don't Got a Clue from his 2010 mixtape The Marathon, where Nipsey got some things off his chest, rapping how somebody, likely Big U, doesn't have a clue about what they want to do for Nip's career, saying that he's not going to stop for them and that he doesn't want somebody controlling him, rapping how he came up tough, so he was never looking at Big U for a solution to his problems, and suggesting that his former team never really helped him push his career forward. Nip would rap F the middleman, and he would end his verse saying don't expect any favors from him because he wasn't given any favors. According to Loose Cannon, who's probably not the most reliable narrator, Big U would confront Nipsey about the track and challenge him to a fight, where Nipsey would then supposedly move and dance around Big U so fast that he would leave him exhausted, almost like a scene from an old school action comedy.
And he was like, hey, cuz, is this song about me? So Nipsey stood up or whatever and was like, yeah, cuz it's about you. So he was drinking some water out of a water bottle and he threw it on Nipsey, right? He was like, we're gonna have to go get down or whatever. So he thought Nipsey was gonna back down. Nipsey stood up and was like, okay, cuz, let's go get down. They were just dancing around or whatever like that. He was trying to get Nipsey or whatever, but Nipsey was just moving, dancing and stuff like that. and he couldn't hit Nipsey, so he got tired. So he knew he didn't get Nipsey the way he wanted to get Nipsey, right?
An unsatisfied Big U then allegedly got the whole gang involved, calling Nipsey up to get disciplined and allegedly beating him up before Black Sam fired into the air, stopping the fight, leading to police being called and breaking things up. Wack 100 would later claim that Big U actually knocked Nipsey Hussle out during their fight.
First time they first fall out, when he first got Nipsey signed, Nipsey come back, was fall out. They went down, there was a fight, rumble happened. I believe Big U knocked Nipsey out. Black Sam comes out, fires 3-4 shots in the air. He's fresh out the penitentiary. Police sitting right across the street, they see it. They come in, they arrest everybody. Black Sam's on parole.
Now, there's some conflicting reasons circulating for this exact fight. It's been rumored that Nipsey Hussle has a daughter by a mother that was allegedly Big U's niece, or at least a close family friend. There was allegedly an incident circulating in a Reddit post where it was claimed that Nipsey actually beat up another man who had been dating his baby's mother after they split up, with Nip administering this beatdown because the man was apparently creating an unsafe environment for their daughter, with it being believed that the woman might have even got harmed herself in the scuffle, leading Big U to be furious at Nipsey. Ultimately though, Nipsey and Big U would eventually squash their beef and didn't have any more public animosity in the years that followed. But Nipsey's brother Black Sam seemingly always had an issue with Big U. Apparently, this was reciprocated.
Then I'm gonna keep it 100. Me and his brother wasn't cool. Me and his brother wasn't the best of friends. You gotta understand, like I'm gonna have friends that my mama ain't gonna like. I'm gonna have friends that my brother's not gonna like. You're gonna have people that your people don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Nipsey's Rollin 60's gang ties would be the ultimate liability throughout his career to the very end. A planned private performance in 2010 saw a massive bust on the Rollin 60's members that he was affiliating with.
People under arrest after police raid a nightclub where dozens of members of an LA street gang were partying.
Police received information that gang members of the Rollin 60's, a violent South LA gang, would be holding a private party here at the Platinum Club here in Studio City. So they decided it would be a good time to do a gang sweep. Now take a look. It all went down around 2 in the morning. The Platinum Club was surrounded by dozens of officers. They arrested about 40 people they say are gang members of the gang Rollin 60's. Officers say they learned of the so-called hood party several days before the big event. Now outside of the club, the marquee had a sign there that said who was headlining the party. They are Nipsey Hussle and Dealmakers International. You can also see the number 6x10. Now, police say that was the secret Rollin 60's gang sign. An officer from North Hollywood was the first to approach the front door of the club, and he says that he was rushed by a group of people inside the club. He called for help, and officers from all areas responded immediately. Now, officers say this gang sweep will clearly cripple the illegal activities of the Rollin 60's gang, at least for a while.
As time went on, Nipsey would do more things that reportedly angered Big U, like bringing Treetop Pyru rapper YG to the Rollin 60's hood for the music video for the song Sitches Ain't Bit in 2011. Apparently, Nipsey had to fight multiple Rollin 60's after this perceived violation, but this didn't stop his role, and later, Nipsey would even return the favor, attending YG's hood to film the music video for I'm a Thug that featured Meek Mill. This was a video that ironically had footage of fellow Rollin 60 Brick Baby getting arrested. But anyway, as Nip's career grew, it seemed that Big U's stance towards Nipsey had softened, and he was showing him respect publicly, with Big U being seen doing a speech in Nipsey's honor in 2018 during an event for his Developing Options nonprofit, where rap heavyweights like T.I. and Wiz Khalifa were also in attendance.
Look who came through. Yeah, you know, I got my all black on, man. You know, all black everything. Steve Maniac, Lil Bill, K1 right here, you know. Big U, what up, baby? Big U and Lil Bill. So you need that. Yeah, that's legendary. Woo!
Remember that. He did what no other rappers do today. He sold his own music. He sold his own music. So when I came along and Steve came along, we had a formula that merged what he do, but he outworked any artist I've seen. I'm talking about business-wise. I'm not talking about on the mic. Because if you notice, this man is a more professional than 90% of the dudes who are trying to grow to his level. But I'm saying that to our young baby, to a T. He outworked a whole lot of people. And this is the reason why we are giving him the award, the Businessman Award, because
this was really a famous
everything that you need to exercise in business. So let's give this man a hand and wrap it up for him. I'm talking about, I came to his house and he lived in all places.
Close, keep your enemies closer.
And was really,
should have hit him first though.
He really had a mic in his closet and was recording.
He was already planning on hitting him sometime in life you gotta make the first move. You know, Nip knew he had a leech next to him, but he was trying to play the game, a very deadly game. He was gonna get his money right, like Pac said, get all his money right, get his soldiers right. Then they was gonna deal with this nigga. Big U was just too strong. Nip didn't have the time, bro. Should have clipped him.
Recording his own self. Remember that.
And at one point, Big U would even crip walk on stage, and Nipsey would in return honor Big U in his speech, saying how everybody in the hood saw him as a leader.
And see what that turned into, and putting pressure on us to just stay focused, you know, standing in front of us as young dudes from the area. And always, I remember he like, you know, it's not gonna be one room I walk into that my homeboys can't walk into with me. And I always respected and looked up to him as a leader and as somebody that was just a real man. And I love to see everybody out here tonight dressed up, looking good. I think we got to give him a round of applause as well. And like I said, I love you, bro. We're going to keep pushing. Day one. Thank you.
Nipsey was having massive success, culminating in the release of his critically acclaimed 2018 debut studio album, Victory Lap, where he would even shout out Big U, aka Big Draws.
And I'm eating breakfast.
My shirt drunk, yeah, all that. I've been working. I ain't saved everything, man. Victory Lap coming soon.
He wasn't gonna save anyway.
I wasn't, but I was gonna change my shirt though. I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm working.
We will let y'all hear some music, but you gotta wait to pay for it. Ain't no free no more.
Coming.
And you ain't downloading it, we're gonna put a tag. If you steal the music, coming to your house and putting that
car wash when you got your tent set up. We gonna beat you.
But in March 2019, Nipsey allegedly angered Big U once again by bringing DJ Khaled to the 60s hood and not asking permission. They were there to shoot a music video for Khaled's song Higher that featured Nipsey and John Legend. Allegedly, Big U sent Rollin 60s members to the shoot to cause trouble, causing Nipsey and Khaled to have to finish the shoot in a parking lot. TMZ, on the other hand, claimed from their sources at the video shoot that Nipsey had seemingly received threats on his life before the shoot had even taken place, and that he was apparently prepared with an exceptionally large security team. They would also claim that it was actually during the filming at the parking structure in Inglewood where Nipsey's team were concerned about somebody in the local Bloods coming to kill him. Some people online would also claim that Big U was actually cool with Nipsey at this time, but it was really a bunch of younger Rollin 60s members that just wanted to rob DJ Khaled, causing trouble, with there also being reports of some friction between some Rollin 60s and Inglewood Blood members that might have caused some tension at the shoot. Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, would later seemingly confirm that someone had indeed pressed them at the video shoot, but wouldn't specify exactly who it was.
Not to get into too much detail, but there was a lot of politics getting into with certain people. You know, Hustle had DJ Khaled in the hood. Not to be speaking too much on it, but we came frontline like we always do. And, you know, we're going to know we're going to crash out behind it. Back, we're not playing. Ain't nobody saying nothing to Khaled. Ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled. And he's straight. And Hustle frontline that. And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
But whatever the case, only a few days later, Nipsey would tragically be gunned down in front of his Marathon clothing store in the Rollin 60s hood, less than a mile away from Big U's childhood stomping grounds on Arlington Avenue. Nipsey was gunned down by a man named Eric Holder, known in the streets because a fellow member of the Rollin 60s who was allegedly mad at Nipsey for accusing him of being a snitch. Eric Holder is also an old close friend of one of the other names mentioned in the new RICO case, the rapper and No Jumper host Brick Baby, real name Zaire Mitchell, another 60 that uses the moniker as a street name.
That day he got put on, we came up with the name. That was like a name that was really made for him, but he can't come in and be big. So being my big homie, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's big, and I'm little, so you gonna be baby.
But anyway, following Nipsey's murder, different conspiracy theories would begin to spread about his death, suggesting that it might have been more than just a random argument with a low-level Rollin 60s member. One of these theories being that Big U had somehow been involved in the murder himself, particularly as he would seemingly tell different versions about where he had been the day of the murder, as well as having a motive due to the rumors that Nipsey had allegedly refused to re-sign a contract to be under Big U's label.
And for those who don't know, Big U is said to be responsible for the death of Nipsey Hussle. This is what a lot of people are saying, and it's because he keeps changing his story about the day that Nipsey Hussle died.
We actually was on 6th Ave with 100 cars. We got all the streets blocked. We waiting on UK to come out the house. Everybody phone blowing up. Nip got hit. Nip got hit. We flying up there. We fly up there and we see the scene.
And then like later on, he would forget he said that. And then he'd go on live on IG and say that he wasn't even in town the day that Nipsey died.
That was accusing me. I ain't even do. And what's funny, I wasn't even in town. So figure that one out. But I ain't gonna trust it.
And Nipsey Hussle was signed to Big U, to Big U's record label, and that contract was due to be up, and Nipsey Hussle wasn't going to re-sign. So that provided motive, okay?
By signing to it was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Big U reportedly also didn't attend Nipsey's funeral, and an IG Live sometime after the murder would appear to show Big U laughing when somebody commented justice for Nip, and going on to say that people are waiting for him to do an interview.
What you waiting on, though? You don't know what you waiting on, though. What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on. Damn, my mama broke you with a
Justice for Nip.
Your boy would have been there like, yeah, everybody that was showing shit.
You did. You did.
However, the day after Nipsey was killed, Big U would post what seemed to be a heartfelt tribute to Nipsey, with a caption that said how hurt he was at the news, whilst also interestingly pointing out that the last time he spoke to Nipsey was 3 days ago at the DJ Khaled video shoot, something that no one really publicly knew at that time, with Big U saying in the caption that when they were at the video shoot together, they had spoken about building a school, which some have taken as Big U actually trolling, given the fact that it was rumored that a much more tense conversation had taken place at that shoot. Even back then, people were getting straight in the comments on Big U's post, saying that he was the one who set Nipsey up to get killed. And as time went on, Big U would post more tributes to Nipsey to his Instagram page, with yet more comments continuing to reference a possible setup and the DJ Khaled music video. Less than a week after Nipsey's murder, Big U took to Instagram to announce a peace march in the hood in Nipsey's memory.
Greetings to everybody. To get this message today, we are having a visual for Nipsey Hussle at 3 to 5 today for all the different gangs in LA that want to come out and support. Over the last 2 days, we have been having meetings amongst us, A-Trays, Rollin 60's, Hoovers, East Coasters, Bounty Hunters, and everybody like mine to come together. We're going to ask that everybody come to Crenshaw and Slauson, be there by 3. We want everybody to park in the Rouse parking lot. We're going to be escorting everybody from the Rouse parking lot to the memorial. It's not open to the public. It's only for LA street gangs, Bloods, Crips with the like mind and want to support and pay homage to one of our lost soldiers, one of our good brothers and teachers and leaders. So it's open from 3 to 5.
And this indeed went ahead. Over a year after Nipsey was killed, Big U proudly showed off that he had met and recorded a podcast with DJ Khaled and Fat Joe, posting a video where he seemed to be very happy to be with DJ Khaled, specifically with Khaled returning the love and shouting out Big U.
That's right, love, Big U.
There you go. That's legend.
And clips were posted by Big U's label, Unique Music, with captions saying that they miss Nipsey. After Nipsey's death, there was a post on Unique Music's Instagram page claiming that Big U was the person who had introduced Nipsey to the world, but people in the comments would continue to claim that Big U was responsible for what happened, once again suggesting that Nipsey was set up by Big U for trying to leave him behind. After Nipsey's death, Big U posted Nipsey along with references to his unique label numerous times, including one ominous post where he put up a video of Nipsey saying that he can't follow other people, they should be following him.
Blind can't lead the blind, bro.
Yes,
Somebody
sir.
got to have a vision.
Yes, sir.
You got to follow who got the vision. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
if you
sir.
stuck on stupid, I ain't going to judge you or have no disrespect for you, but I'm
gonna
definitely
be
not-
over here.
Yeah, and I'm not going to follow you or take heed to your opinion. You're going to have to follow what I'm doing.
I heard
And
that.
after a while, that way of thinking versus this way of thinking, more people lean toward this way because of the results.
And in the 2025 indictment, it was claimed that in a monitored conversation, Big U even suggested that he was the biggest Rollin 60 member ever, specifically saying that he was bigger than Nipsey Hussle. But despite the passing years, the rumors of Big U's involvement never went away, and people online would continue to speculate endlessly about potential conspiracy surrounding Nipsey's passing. Big U would comment on the rumors directly on numerous occasions, like in a 2022 No Jumper appearance, where he said that he was just associated with the murder of Nipsey because he's a very famous Rollin 60's member, and suggesting that he had a great relationship with Nipsey, and people are just spreading the rumor for money and clout.
Like how he was beefing when all his songs, every album he put out, since we had the so-called altercation, he shouted me out.
However, in 2024, Nipsey's brother Black Sam would do a podcast with Big Boy, alluding to someone being sent to kill Nipsey, rather than this just being an isolated crash out.
It is random as what the public thought it was. Like Nip seen somebody, Eric, and talked, and
I mean, you know, he already got convicted, so for me, without going into too many details. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever. It just don't make no sense. It's not random, you know. It's gonna come to the light.
Loose Cannon, a former ally of Big U and one of the co-defendants in the upcoming case, actually revealed on No Jumper that Big U had told him Nipsey was dead before it even happened, with Loose Cannon saying that Big U had prior knowledge of Nipsey's death before it all went down, mentioning on the phone to him, which led him to call Nipsey Hussle moments before the shooting took place.
He FaceTimed me. So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone, and I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him the call you just got, or you didn't even mention it?
I didn't mention it. And that's what fucked me up, because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I could have probably stopped it, or it had it.
Stop what? You mean that?
No, because listen, so after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that, I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yeah.
You panic, called Nip. Nip answered the phone.
Yeah. And
you
we
like
were just talking on regular. So it's like, at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it, because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute, and then they be lukewarm. Like you
and
just
30 minutes after you get off the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
This clip actually led to a cease and desist being served on No Jumper, and Adam22 being advised to remove the content from his channel.
So everybody knows I got a cease and desist about the Loose Cannon interview that I did with WAC 100, and a cease and desist showed up from the one and only. Never thought my life would go in this direction. Never thought I would be getting a legal notice from the big man himself.
Oh,
Big
yeah, I just seen
you.
Big U said he ain't feeling that
Big
shit.
Yusufer.
Big
Is that a diss? I think that's a whack term. I don't want to say that. So from our perspective, we have decided to back away from this. This is not a narrative that I was really interested in pushing in the first place. The idea that Big U had any sort of criminal doings in his adult life, or that that he was involved with anything with Nipsey. This is not something I ever really bought in on. It was kind of a surprise to me that it got trotted out on the podcast. I don't have to make this kind of statement about why we decided to remove it or whatever, but I did ultimately make the decision to take it down.
Interestingly though, when the 2025 criminal complaint dropped, it would turn out that Loose Cannon wasn't just anybody claiming Big U's involvement, but he was in fact an alleged former enforcer for Big U, conducting robberies on his behalf as part of an extortion racket later described by the criminal complaint as Big U Enterprises. But even more crazy, even before the criminal complaint revealed these bombshell allegations, Loose Cannon would openly tell stories about these robberies that he did for Big U on the No Jumper podcast for the whole world to hear. When the 2025 criminal complaint dropped on Big U, the world will be introduced to a dark trail of alleged crimes. But the complaint itself wraps up all of these activities under one umbrella organization, with the so-called Big U Enterprise allegedly engaging in an array of criminal activity, including extortion, robbery, murder, human trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, other financial crimes, obstruction of justice, illegal debt collection, illegal gambling, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Some of these crimes seem absolutely crazy in the modern day and make you think more of the Black Hand mafia extortion scene in the Godfather movies than gangbangers in South Central LA. In fact, Big U actually previously referred to his life as a modern-day mafia story, but things were much more complicated than that, because to cloak this alleged criminal activity, according to the complaint, Big U's non-profit was at the front and center. This, along with his persona he presented to the public as as a reformed gang member actually allowed Big U to navigate both the criminal underworld and the halls of legitimate power and business at the same time. His non-profit umbrella organization, Developing Options, which controls a number of seemingly innocent entities attempting to do positive work in the community, actually received over $500,000 from the GRID program controlled by the City of LA, with a total of over $2.3 million from the City of LA being handed over, hundreds of thousands of which Big U allegedly withdrew personally as a salary. He would also allegedly embezzle funds that were meant for community work, in a practice where he would solicit donations from celebrities for his charities, then taking the money for himself personally. The criminal complaint later called Big U's organizations a front and part of a plan for Big U to control the streets of LA undercover. And according to wiretaps, Big U's persona as a reformed community activist was just a facade, and behind the scenes, he was openly claiming how he was still the same man that they said he once was. Big U was also heard on a wiretap saying that no one can beef with him because he'd kill them. Apparently, even later bragging to someone about being the only gangster from his era still murdering people in the modern day and age. Big U's alleged right-hand man, an enforcer, and underboss was a man named Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, with Mark Martin, aka Bearclaw, being a trusted lieutenant. Big U's name and crew pulled a lot of weight and called a lot of shots in LA for decades, particularly when it came to the nightlife. There's one infamous story about Big U getting into a fight outside of a nightclub in 2014 and a rumored deadly wave of violence and extortion that came soon after. In a video posted by TMZ, Big U is seen trying to enter a club with his friend who's being turned away, who then attacks the security. Big U decides to back up his friend, getting into the fight and ending up being floored by the Samoan security team, being left bloodied and carried away by the police.
You, Mike, hey, just stay down. He's good. You, Mike. Hey, close the gate, Mike. Close it up. Hey, close it up. Get him inside.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out right now. Go. Get him out.
Be cool. Be cool.
I don't want him in this. I don't. Get out.
Get him out here. Back up. Come on. You, come on. You. Big you straight girl. Huh?
No, he just swung at my guard. Leave him on the ground.
No, he goes to jail. He goes to jail tonight. Nothing to see. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
Big U later claimed that he had gone head-to-head with 15 Samoan security guards.
At the supper club up here. We was going in. It's only 30, 40 minutes left in the club. This dude hired something. The homeboy house. Yeah, they won't let him in. I was like, I'm gonna stay out here with him. He just get off on the security guard for no apparent reason.
Get off, meaning?
He just fired on the dude. All the security together is me by myself.
Big you straight girl.
So I made the assessment. It's 15 of them. You 50 get your whooped. But how the rules go, I'm gonna get down where I'm mad at. I took flight. So when I'm on the ground, I'm wrestling with the one dude came and kicked me. If you look at the film, he kicked me in the side of the face.
Back up. Come on. Hey, give me one fight diving over here. Back up. Back up, man.
So the blood, while I'm on my back, wrestling with the blood filter in my eyes. I couldn't see.
Hey guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
I think I did pretty good, me versus 15. You know what I'm saying?
Big U would also claim that in the aftermath, hundreds of goons from different gangs came to Hollywood following that incident to back him up.
And dudes from every set in LA really stood up and was offended by what they had seen. My homies was Bloods, that's Cubs, just from every set was upset.
In a subsequent video, Big U was seen bloodied and in cuffs as rappers The Game and T.I., along with Big U's son and an army of 6-0s, square up to the police, initially believing that it was the police that brutalized Big U.
Are you trigger happy too? We're not bothering you. You trigger happy? TMZ, put it on. TMZ, hey, get the camera on Big U. Hey, listen, right now. Police didn't do it. You security did.
Hey, T.I. Who did it? T.I.
Police didn't do it.
T.I.
Who did it?
But after the crowd realized that the security were responsible for jumping Big U, they begun to confront and scuffle with the security, with one of the people personally involved in beating up Big U taking off running from the mob.
Who did that to you? Hold on. Who did that to you? Please. Who
Hey, Scott, I got you.
Then, Rapper the Game even squares up to security himself, ready to fight.
Look at Game sweating the security right now on the police.
Then, what sounded like young Rollin 60's members ready to crash out would escalate things further, looking for those responsible and saying that they had never seen Big U in that sort of state, with everyone trying to remove them from the situation before things escalate and get deadly.
I'm talking to you, 6-up kid. I ain't never seen my like that. Who hit you though? Who hit you? Hey, what happened? No, I can calm the whole situation down. What happened? I can tell you.
Look, it's a whole Mexican standoff right now. We got a whole Mexican standoff with Game's crew and the police.
The Game would still try and square up to the security, who is saying that Big U has to go to jail tonight.
Watch your back, watch your back.
The whole situation was a mess, and according to one rumor, this actually led to a gang war between the Rollin 60's, backed up by other gangs, and the Samoan security gangs that run the nightclub doors in Hollywood, with Big U saying in his Hip Hop Uncovered series how things got so serious that 4 to 5 people were expected to die over this, with some Redditors even taking this to mean that 5 people had indeed lost their lives as part of this beef.
It was a lot of violence against just clubs and security against clubs, and people expected 4 or 5 people to die. We got so many people dying over bull crap. I didn't really want to add to that. That's not the legacy I wanted to have. That was a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? Went too far. So we ended up shutting Hollywood down. We had to meet with the powers that be.
Now, I wasn't able to find any evidence or cases relating to murders that happened in Hollywood following this incident, but apparently after things reached a boiling point in the streets, the Supper Club and Big U had a meeting to try and resolve things. This ended in the Supper Club allegedly cutting Big U a check for $200,000 and doing a food drive for his community movement.
You know, we had sat down with the owners of the Supper Club. They wrote me a check for over $200,000. We used about $70,000, $80,000 to do a food giveaway, toys. It was amazing.
The Supper Club's giving all these free toys and food. They're underprivileged, right? And so I start talking to Big U, the organizer of the event. How come the Supper Club was so keen to be involved?
Well, we've been messing with them since back in, the incident we had. They want to reach out and help the community. For me, being able to take something bad that happened for me and turn it into a positive, instead of continue to let it be a negative, that's what I'm all about.
Supper Club later put out a public statement suggesting that Big U was the victim of a rogue security officer who took things too far, saying that Big U was not arrested and had no part in the violence, with club owners distancing themselves from the security that were working that night and promising that they would never book them again. Clearly, Big U was flesh and blood, like any man, and could also be caught slipping, but just as clearly from what came after, he was a formidable force in the streets who wouldn't accept this kind of violation lightly, and nightclubs would seemingly be a regular target for extortion attempts by the Big U enterprise. The 2025 criminal complaint would outline a situation where Big U shook down club owners, promising them T.I. and Wiz Khalifa to turn up to an event in exchange for 33% of the profits. These artists never turned up, but Big U demanded a $30,000 payment from the club, plus more of the profits, despite not keeping up his end of the deal, with a taped recording depicting Big U pressing the club owner and promising to tear the club up if if he didn't get what he wanted, apparently vowing to bring 5,000 Rolling 60s members to destroy their club if he wasn't paid the money. And famous people weren't safe either. The criminal complaint would mention a litany of celebrities and athletes that had paid Big U a checking-in fee when coming to LA. Checking in being an extortion method that out-of-town people often fall into, as they're pressured to get into contact with the local gang members, this often involving payments for protection and to not get robbed. The criminal complaint explained that checking in was a street tax that had to be paid to guarantee safety from gangs and criminals in the city. And according to the complaint, the Big U enterprise claimed control of LA and expected to collect tax from entertainers in the city conducting certain types of legit or illegal business. The criminal complaint outlined an incident where boxer Adrian Broner and his friends were part of a fixed dice game against some NBA players, who then checked in with Big U and allegedly paid him $100,000, after which Big U gathered his goons and went to confront Broner, allegedly roughing him up along with his friends for not checking in and for apparently cheating NBA players out of their money. But even as far back as 2020, people on Reddit would debate why Big U pretends to be a reformed gang member whilst also openly enforcing the checking in extortion method publicly. People knew that he was living a double life years ago, and this was an open secret in LA. Big U would even be seen in video clips on social media going to film sets where he had apparently forced the production to check in with him, saying that if they didn't, he would be taking all of their equipment.
Movie production in the hood. That's how we do it, man.
Top flight, baby. Yeah.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
Come out here.
Coming out here and checking in with GB, getting these movies done. You better know it. Sure. Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in,
oh well. Check your.
We're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
Big U was openly the gatekeeper for LA check-ins, warning out-of-towners in numerous clips that if you choose not to check in, you're not safe and you'll suffer the consequences, as well as saying that he too checks in when going to other cities.
When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers, like who really real killers. Like if he ever find out who did that, he gonna knock everybody down. You understand what I'm saying? You just caught slipping. You know, that's how it is. You know what I mean? And you try your best not to be slipping. And if you have the means not to, why do it? You know what I mean? And it's just about, sometimes it's about respecting, you know, yourself and then trying to get home. So, I mean, you know, I hear a lot of back and forth on that, but I mean, I don't know that it's a perfect answer other than me, myself, I check in.
But it appeared that Big U even had issues with podcasters like Gilly and Wallow of $1 Million Worth of Game.
Gilly and Wallow, they got a problem. I couldn't Philly. Them the only two dudes I'm looking for. I got no problem with nobody else, no beef with nobody else but Gilly and Wallow right now.
Whack 100 and Loose Cannon would both tell academics that the Rollin 60's, on the orders of Big U, once stripped Gilly and his son and sold their jewelry for $100,000, with Whack 100 also revealing that Nipsey Hussle allegedly ended up giving Gilly $20,000 back because he felt bad for him.
Man, you better ask Gilly. Gilly
know?
No, Gilly got stripped down by the homies because of Big U.
Wait, Gilly?
Yeah, the homie Rose and them stripped.
We're talking about Gilly the Kid. We're talking about the guy with the podcast. We're talking about $1 million worth.
No, he got his son stripped down, and they stripped down Gilly.
What do you? Like for what? Like what? What do you mean? Gilly never got robbed though.
Yeah, him and his son got stripped. They stripped him in the 60s. Big U lined them up. They stripped him, took all their jewelry. The man that did it came on the stage and said he did it, and get mad at me like I did it. I ain't did it. I ain't do it. I wasn't there.
No,
what mad at me for?
Gilly official from Philly, man. Gilly not going like that.
Gilly had his hands up in the mother air with his 2 kids. A father that couldn't protect his 2 kids. That's what he is. I told that, look, bro, don't be popping at me with another saying, nigga, that from Rollin 60 Crip for real. Everybody know that is. He telling you, Big, you lined your punk ass up. Now, if you got your ass robbed over there, you and your kids, he said Nipsey went over there and gave it $20,000 because he felt bad for him.
However, it seems that whatever may have happened, Gilly would repair the relationship with Big U, as they could later be seen acting very friendly with each other. But no one was safe from the Rollin 60's extortion racket. But it seemed that the biggest targets were grey market businesses that couldn't rely on the law to protect them, particularly unlicensed smoke shop dispensaries, with Big U and his henchmen allegedly running an extortion racket where they would charge protection money to a store and rob them if they didn't pay up. In some cases, robbing them and giving some of the proceeds back if they agreed to line up other robberies and to prove what they were capable of doing. Footage of one armed dispensary robbery allegedly carried out by Rollin 60's on a dispensary that happened to be owned by Nipsey Hussle and Black Sam would even circulate on Reddit, and this is where Loose Cannon enters the picture. According to some sources, Loose Cannon, real name Tremaine Ashley Williams, had a tough upbringing in South Central LA, losing his father to a death sentence in prison. Loose found himself deep in the politics of LA streets and prison yards, eventually turning to the music business as a producer, making beats for people around him like Nipsey and Draco the Ruler, before turning to rapping himself, collaborating with Nipsey Hussle during his come-up, and allegedly almost getting signed by none other than Dr. Dre, who according to Loose produced his song Bringin' California Back featuring Nipsey Hussle and YG. But in the end, Dr. Dre ended up signing Kendrick Lamar, as he considered him to be the safer choice, who didn't have as many potentially disruptive ties to the streets.
Some peace to Nip, man. Yeah. You had a record with him in 2013, right?
Yeah. Bringing California Back, produced by Dr. Dre, featuring YG.
Hold on, you said produced by Dre.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Like Andre Young.
Yeah.
Oh, worked with Dre?
Yeah.
How closely did you work with Dre on that? You just got the beat, or you were able to link with him?
When I went to jail, it was like he wanted to sign me or whatever. It was me, Nip, and Kendrick Lamar. So at the end of the day, he was like, y'all getting people getting killed out there. I don't want to be around with this gangbang. I learned my lesson from dealing with the last situation, and he chose Kendrick Lamar.
That makes sense.
However, in another early interview, Loose would also imply that he was in fact the producer of the song, making the melody of the beat with a church piano while being locked up.
So you basically wrote everything. Did you produce that track too, right?
Yeah, I produced it. I did everything.
So when you're in jail, how were you able to kind of make that beat?
They had church, right?
Oh, okay.
I used to go in the church, use some keyboards like that. That's how I did it. And it came out dope. So
no, for real. I remember that was the first song I actually heard, that you created and that you were in. I was like, hell yeah, this is dope as hell, because you had YG and Nipsey, and it was about, bringing Cali back, the hardcore, just kind of a party vibe with it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just when I do music, and people don't even understand the hook, me singing on it, rapping, I did so it's I do everything. I make it easier for other artists.
Perhaps the beat might have been a collaboration between Loose and Dre, although according to a poster that was posted by Loose himself, the producer is tagged as Buckwheat on the beat, but perhaps this version was a remake. But anyway, Loose has indeed allegedly racked up production credits and writing credits on projects with numerous major artists like Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, The Game, Nas, and 50 Cent. And he supposedly even worked as the opening act for Drake and 21 Savage during their It's All a Blur tour, although he's not included in the Wikipedia page about the tour for some reason. These discrepancies seem to raise some interesting questions about Loose's background or lack thereof. In fact, according to Loose's twin brother, Jermaine Williams, much of Loose Cannon's alleged music production credits are actually not true at all.
Even though he has a little bit of music on his platform, he's got the Draco song, he's got the Nipsey song, he has claimed all kind of music success with people that I know for a fact he doesn't even know. He don't know Nas, but the Loose Cannon I know has been worked with Nas for probably a decade. He doesn't know none of these other people that he's claimed to produce, that he's worked with. Have you heard some of his claims of his music success?
I could only go by what I did for him. He have songs with Game. He got songs with J-Rock. He got songs with Nip, YG. Songs that I produce. I can't speak on anything that he's produced. I mean, that I heard little clips. People send me little clips. He would have been too young to work with these folks when they was doing their music and they did hits and all that stuff. So if people wants to believe that he says, so be it. All I could do is say what I did with him.
Moreover, LA YouTuber Street TV, together with guests like the rappers Munchie B and Spider Loke, have claimed that Loose has stolen his entire public persona from an older hip-hop industry insider that also has the name Loose Cannon.
Got me on this Loose Cannon, anti-Loose Cannon, anti-fake Loose Cannon campaign is because I have a personal friend
that I've known since, I want to say 13 years old, 14 maybe, that goes by the name Loose Cannon. That's been in the music business since I've known him, that he's introduced me to some of the biggest rappers that I've ever met. I met them through the real Loose Cannon.
Because you guys, I believe this is the reason why Loose Coochie Lips Cannon chose Loose Cannon as a name to run with, because of the credits that were already attached to it and the lack of a apparent profile that was so obvious. Because if you from Rollin anything, especially 60s, I don't care if it's 90s, 40s, 30s, anything, and you have a name that includes O's, to eliminate the O's is so contrary to what we do when we play with words and represent what we represent. He had to take that name for the purpose of receiving the exact same credit that your partner was getting.
The real Loose Cannon hit me up during the MySpace years.
That's what it was, MySpace.
And he asked me, who is this dude, Loose Cannon? He's supposed to be from 60's. And I remember I think he called Steve Lobel because he knew Steve Lobel was tapped into the 60's. And he said that, I think Steve Lobel told him that, oh, it ain't nobody. There's nothing to worry about.
My mama, dad, homies, daughters, lokes, loved ones, everything I love and live for, my sister and my sons. Just the same thing I did. It wasn't Steve, but I hollered at Big U. He called me back with the exact same report, bro. Back in 06, when I ran across this mother content of Loose Coochie Lips Cannon lying on me, claiming he had met me and disrespected me, and I had no idea he existed. Oh, you don't say, cuz you not no crip. Look how far he would go. That's why you guys know that was he been trying this since 06.
Normally I wouldn't care,
right?
But I grew up with the real Loose Cannon.
Right.
The real Loose Cannon is getting calls all the time about what this dude is doing, about claims that he's been with other celebrities that the real Loose Cannon never been with. So he's got to take these calls. Nah, I never did a song for 50 Cent. He has worked with Nas. He has worked with some major dudes. Right. This dude, the fake dude, is just putting it all out there.
Robbing dispensaries is one thing, but robbing song credits and your entire career history is just wild. But Loose's former partner, Jasmine Gigi Adams, also told Street TV that Loose has told many outlandish lies about himself, painting him as a possible pathological liar.
Tremaine, he kind of gets you into a place. I mean, it's real intense when he first meets you. As you guys can all see, I'm sure from the interviews that everybody has seen, the lies are outlandish, and he's very good at when he's outed for the lies, he'll come up with an even bigger lie. And then he's got, little minions around him to support the lies. And then, next thing you know, you don't know what to believe, even though you have the proof in front of your face.
Okay, all right. How about Nas?
No, Nas is cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
what was it like when you were working with him?
It was just like, cause was gifted a whole nother level. So it was like a different vibe. It was like out of here. It's like a different atmosphere.
What did you do with him?
Produce for him.
Oh, what did you produce?
The song with him and what's that fat dude? I produced so many records, I'll be forgetting the damn names.
But I think that was kind of the reason why I stayed, because the fake Tremaine didn't have, it's not like he had tons of money or anything when I met him. So I think it was more so about myself. It was just me.
When you look back at it, was there anything about him that you actually liked?
He was very persistent. He was showered you right away with just like flowers, very persistent, and taking you out, kind of just treating you like like a lady. He never pressured you for sex or anything like that. He was just very persistent, kind of came off as a gentleman. And then of course he's telling you these lavish stories. I own Subways, I own GameStops, I have my life together type thing and stuff like that. And I had my own businesses too. So it was kind of like he makes you feel like you've met your match.
But whatever the case, Loose Cannon would eventually find himself in the podcast world, appearing frequently on LA's leading rap culture podcast, No Jumper, arguably becoming a loose link when it came to the secretive code of the streets. But before Loose had fully transitioned to a more sanitized media presence, he was allegedly towing the line for Big U in the streets, specifically conducting robberies of dispensaries that were being shaken down. According to the criminal complaint, on July the 5th, 2021, a robbery went down at an unlicensed dispensary that had been paying up to $25,000 a month to the Big U enterprise, but they ultimately got tired of being extorted and decided to stop paying up. On that day, 11 thugs were sent to the store, including Loose Cannon personally, with them running into the dispensary with guns and masks, robbing the store of cash, stock, and even sticking up the customers. Apparently during the robbery, one of the masked men put the store owner on the phone with Big U, who invited the victim to his home, and when he arrived there, he found Big U and the robbers with the proceeds of the robbery, telling the victim that he just robbed himself, giving him back some of the stolen things and demanding $10,000 so it doesn't happen again. Now, this is a crazy extortion method as it is, but to make matters even more crazy, years later, after falling out with Big U whilst on the No Jumper podcast, Loose Cannon would discuss this incident openly, saying how he found it strange how Big U would send them out on robberies, and then the victims would later turn up to take their things back.
So basically, it's like, cause he'll be like he'll manipulate things. Like we'll go and do something, and as soon as we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later when we trying to counting everything, right? And we be like, how do they get that? Oh well, we're gonna just give them like $40,000 back and stuff like that. But cause it's actually putting us in paperwork, right?
Luce also claimed that Big U had supplied guns to the homies, but noted down the serial numbers for these guns as collateral.
Seen it get like 20 guns, and when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers? So it's like he was doing like that, and I didn't catch on. So it was like I'm waking up now. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm his right hand man. You get what I'm saying? So when it came down to like dirt and stuff like that, I'm gonna get it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Ultimately, it would seem that Loose Cannon's fallout with Big U was a big contributor to his downfall, as Loose would go on podcasts and lives on his own social media and speak openly about illegal things that he had done under Big U's leadership. Another crazy situation that emerged in the criminal complaint and on a podcast was an apparent run-in with the rapper Meek Mill, where Loose and other 6'0s had allegedly grabbed hold of Meek at a venue and threatened to kill him unless Rick Ross, Meek Mill's label boss, gave them $50,000, which was apparently paid up.
I heard Wack on the interview talking about what I did to Meek Mills.
Wait, you did something to Meek Mill?
Oh Lord.
It said y'all was trying to kidnap him. No, that's cap. There was a big U portion of it.
Yeah. So basically, Meek Mills was talking real reckless on Twitter and stuff like that. So
talking reckless.
Doing
it now.
Yeah, so we caught him at the club where he was performing at. As soon as he walked in or whatever, all the security that was with him, they spent around and grabbed Cubs. Get on the phone with Ross.
Honey, all right, that's enough now. We're not gonna tell all the details.
No, we gotta hear this one.
I said, get on the phone with Ross.
Now this one will go viral. What?
Get on the phone with Ross, neighborhood Crip. So he got on the phone with Ross. I took on the phone with Ross.
Wait.
Because we needed that bag, or Cubs was.
Oh, he owed y'all money.
No, he didn't owe no money. We took the money.
Oh, this was an extortion. Oh.
Not extortion.
All right.
See, yeah, we don't want
to. See, I might have to probably bail him out after this interview.
We don't want to.
No. We'll just say Meek Mill sent on him. It's fine. Meek ain't gonna tell.
Look, we don't want to get the extortion part. It was just a business transaction. You get
how much I charge him?
50. That's it.
50,000?
Yeah.
I hear Rose. Hey, look, I got this. You got this artist you pumping. You don't want this to get out. We need 50. He brought 52, Crenshaw, and 48. He brought that money. He brought it fast. And when he brought it, I hit Big Useless and said, we on our way. Gave Meek Mills his stuff back and left.
Now, for the record, Meek Mill later denied this, and if one thing's clear, Loose Cannon is certainly somebody that will happily lie for clout. But Loose was seemingly so fresh out the streets, he didn't seem to realize that he shouldn't have been talking so openly about these crimes on podcasts. Combine this with the comments that he made about Nipsey Hussle's death and the subsequent cease and desist Big U sent to No Jumper, it was then emerging that Big U had a serious problem on his hands, as the inner workings of his street empire were now being aired out on podcasts for the whole world to hear. Apparently, as a result of a fallout between the two, Loose Cannon was now openly disrespecting Big U any opportunity that he had. But this wasn't just a spontaneous switching of sides. In actual fact, it seemed that Big U's downfall was orchestrated by one man, a former friend turned mortal enemy named Wack 100, who after befriending Big U's former enforcer Loose Cannon would discover a shocking revelation that Big U might have been involved in a sloppy murder in Las Vegas, with Wack ultimately conspiring to drip feed the information to the public and Big U himself in order to accelerate the downfall of his former friend turned enemy. But Wack 100 couldn't take all the credit, as the reality is the downfall of Big U was seemingly his own doing, as the 2025 criminal complaint would reveal just how dark and badly executed this alleged murder was. But despite this, it would be 4 years before anyone would learn the details, and by then it would be far too late for Big U to escape these serious charges. The extortion empire of the Big U enterprise was apparently just the tip of the iceberg when it came to the crimes committed by the alleged leader of the Rollin 60s. The 2025 criminal complaint would shockingly allege that Big U kidnapped and murdered a victim named as RW in response to disrespect from that individual, but the truth of that story is much darker than anyone could have possibly imagined. The young man in question was named Rayshawn Williams, a young football player who had personally been coached by Big U and was a close friend of his son, who went on to play for the LA Chargers in the NFL. Highlights of Rayshawn playing had circulated online when he was still a teen. Previously touted as a talented player to watch, his career was slowed by a knee injury that had him off the field for a whole season. He was apparently being courted by UCLA until his injury, and by 2018, he would officially no longer be on the team. Big U had reportedly not only coached Rayshawn in football growing up, but Rayshawn actually lived with Big U and his family for a brief period during high school, with Big U actually kicking him out after he stole a chain from his son and wore it to school. But despite the apparent brief fallout, Big U was allegedly still playing a supportive role in Rayshawn's life as he tried to find another career path following his football injury, and it would seem that he decided to give music a try. Rapping under the name Young Judah, from May 2020, he would tease his upcoming musical debut in the form of an EP called Golden Dreams, which dropped in June 2020. Clearly an aspirational title, Rayshawn had high hopes for his rap career, continuing to tease his project as months went by. Unfortunately, his music wasn't really hitting. He would post snippets of songs that he had made on his IG, and things weren't exactly industry ready. In one song, he called himself Ray Hustle, an ironic reference to Big U's other murdered protege, Nipsey Hussle. As time went on, Rayshawn would post more snippets, and he seemed to be improving as a rapper song by song, even turning on the auto-tune and having a crack at making more emotional pain music. Despite not having success off music yet, Rayshawn was already living the high life, posting pictures of himself chilling in luxury properties. Curiously, he would make one post with a caption saying that some people think that he's rude. Anyway, he continued to experiment, dropping more snippets of music that he'd been working on, and showing himself in Las Vegas on numerous trips throughout 2020. But apparently behind the scenes, there was some kind of disagreement between Rayshawn and Big U, who had been apparently trying to help him get his music career going. Big U was apparently bankrolling Rayshawn's trips to a studio in Las Vegas to record music, but he was seemingly using his time in the wrong kind of ways. According to the criminal complaint, on January the 20th, 2021, Rayshawn allegedly recorded a diss song where he seemed to suggest that someone would get shot in the face over money, with feds making the suggestion that he was actually dissing Big U. It being believed that there was a dispute over Rayshawn wasting Big U's studio time and not making the most of the time that he had been gifted, with reports from another person involved in organizing the studio sessions that Rayshawn had been skipping out and having too much fun during a week where he was supposed to be making a song a day. The day after the alleged diss song, Rayshawn releases a different song as a snippet to his Instagram where he indeed seems to be dissing someone, rapping about how he doesn't need to hate someone he's disagreeing with, but he wishes them the best, and dismissing any criticism that they've made, saying how he doesn't hear it and they should say it with their chest, ending with a sly lyric saying that he's supporting his friends by buying all their merch, and dissing someone for being a snitch and saying how they would get killed for that. It's unclear if any of these lyrics were indeed intended as a sneak diss towards Big U, as he wasn't mentioned specifically. However, the Instagram post that included this song, eerily, was the only one on his page that Big U had liked publicly. It's highly possible that he perceived this as disrespect and was letting Rayshawn know that he had his eye on him. According to the criminal complaint, it's alleged that 2 days later, on January the 21st, interestingly, this being Big U's daughter's birthday, Big U and Vay, aka Robinson, drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, arriving at the studio unexpectedly, causing the studio security to be confused and ask a lot of questions. According to the later full indictment, Big U had gone there to confront Rayshawn about his lack of production during the allotted studio time, then later going to Rayshawn's Airbnb at 2 a.m. to ask him why he hadn't been at the studio the previous day and calling him out for disrespecting the Big U enterprise. The next day, on January the 24th, and into the night of the 25th, Big U was at a recording studio with Rayshawn and somebody else known only as Witness 2. Big U arrived at the studio around 7:04 p.m., with Rayshawn arriving an hour or two later, recording a song from 11 p.m. until midnight, but clearly, whatever Rayshawn recorded or said didn't quite cut it for Big U, and things were about to get dark. Then, at 12:37 a.m., Big U left the studio, apparently driving Rayshawn back to his Airbnb. During this journey, at 12:58 a.m., Big U's phones were turned off. Interestingly, in a 2021 Drink Champs interview, Big U had mentioned how phone data makes it impossible to get away with crimes these days.
The unique thing is, because of the way we are right now, we'll never have these stories. Because the camera ain't gonna let it, the one on the street corner. The phone ain't gonna let it, the one that's telling everything. And it's just not, these stories will become what the mafia stories were.
But anyway, perhaps some kind of conversation on that ride between Rayshawn and Big U took a bad turn, leading you to make a decision to do something extreme. By 1:13 a.m., Big U had pulled up to the spot where Rayshawn was staying, with Rayshawn spending 10 minutes gathering his belongings and returning to the car with a suitcase. Despite being scheduled to stay at the Airbnb another day, based on the details in the paperwork, Big U would drive with Rayshawn to a location on the I-15 highway. Allegedly, it was here that he would pull off the road, shooting Rayshawn dead and dragging his body into a remote spot off the highway into the desert of Las Vegas near a landfill, with the later indictment showing an image of the crime scene where the body had been found with multiple gunshot wounds to the head. Investigators did test drives to prove that the drive to the location where the body was found matched the amount of time that it would have taken from the car departing from Rayshawn's B&B and then from the murder location to where Big U's phone was turned back on, and started reporting location data once again, which was around 2:15 a.m. Within an hour of turning his phone back on, Big U returned to the recording studio covered in sweat, telling those there he had just been to the gym. Interestingly, days later, Big U demanded the removal of all surveillance and recording equipment and evidence from the studio after he left, with detectives believing that the footage would have shown an altercation between Big U and Rayshawn that took place before the murder. In the early hours of the morning after the murder, according to the paperwork, Big U would leave Las Vegas for Los Angeles, with North Las Vegas Police Department agents discovering the body in the desert near the Apex landfill the following morning, with cops immediately theorizing that the murder had taken place right at the side of the I-15 roadway based on their discovery of blood and drag marks leading to where the body was found. A News 3 Las Vegas article would immediately report the news, telling the public how the police had received a call from a member of the public who found a body laying in a deserted area near Las Vegas and Clark Peterson Boulevard near the Apex. This is a barren and open desert space, which while deserted, doesn't seem like a place a body would be hard to miss out in the open in the daytime, but it's likely that Big U drove off this unmarked verge on the edge of the I-15 in the darkness of night, thinking that this would be a remote place to drag and leave the body, perhaps not realizing that this was right next to quite literally the largest and busiest landfill in the entire world, with Big U arriving back in Los Angeles an hour after the body was found in the Vegas desert. NLVPD would break the tragic news to Rayshawn's mother, who provided more backstory, telling them that Big U and Rayshawn were close and how he would usually call his mother weekly, but after the murder, the calls abruptly stopped, and Rayshawn's mother had apparently called Big U to confront him after the disappearance of her son, with Big U denying that he'd seen or heard from him. Big U even tried to cover his tracks by replying to an Instagram DM from Rayshawn the day after the murder, but nothing happened for 2 years, it would seem. And what's really fascinating is that Big U was right back to business after this alleged incident, arriving back to Los Angeles and beginning to promote his upcoming documentary, Hip Hop Uncovered, due to be released in a matter of weeks on FX. Meanwhile, the Crenshaw High football Instagram page would announce the death of their former wide receiver, Rayshawn Williams. His teammates would pay tribute to him in their Twitters, but curiously, Big U didn't once acknowledge the death of this young man who had been so close to him and his family for years. Weirdly, Big U never acknowledged this death of someone so close to him, but when Gilly's son Cheese was killed, he made a heartfelt post on the Unique Music account pleading, "Why are we losing our sons to the streets?" But then again, this could have been trolling, as Big U and the 60's were rumored to have robbed Gilly and his son years earlier, and U would post other tributes to other deceased youngsters that his friends had lost, but curiously, nothing about Rayshawn. But as the days went on, Big U would continue to promote his upcoming FX documentary. He was enjoying his newfound fame, posting a clip of himself getting lint rolled by the wardrobe department, showing the world that he was now a superstar 60.
You did it before. Go ahead. I'm gonna hug you. They're about to put a Sephora in the 60s. Over here, get over here.
On February the 8th, he would post a cryptic message saying that nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. After this, Big U would take to Instagram again to celebrate a billboard for his show placed on Sunset Boulevard, even pulling up to the scene to make a video saying that people are saying that they should stay away from Big U.
Trick. What? They say stay away from Big U, cuz.
They lying, cause look, Big U got us on the billboard on Sunset.
Sunset.
Be on Sunset.
You see that? All up in that mic, you see that say,
Hey!
Big U was laughing at his haters and seemingly sneaking a shot at Nipsey Hussle, saying that the marathon continues.
The marathon continues, goddammit.
This was the opposite of laying low. Big U was soaking up the spotlight despite allegedly killing a close family friend less than a month before this. And the spotlight would shine brighter when eventually Hip Hop Uncovered would drop on February the 12th, 2021. Big U would tease part of the upcoming show, posting a clip where Wiz Khalifa described him as the Godfather and claiming that you can't do anything in rap without Big U being consulted.
If I was to describe Big U's role in rap, he would definitely be the Godfather. Can't do nothing without consulting him. He's the only guy who does move how he moves.
He was involved with Nipsey. He had a relationship with Death Row.
People from certain neighborhoods' names would ring bells in his name.
was ringing a lot of bells.
U was at the top of the game within just weeks of this alleged murder, and now his story was being broadcast to millions of people on television. Hip Hop Uncovered would break down the life story of Big U in selective detail. It would include interesting tidbits, like a segment where he said that if he doesn't answer the phone, it can mean somebody dies.
People don't understand that sometimes if I don't answer the phone, it can be death for somebody else.
One of Big U's closest confidants and future co-defendant, Bearclaw, would even congratulate him on Instagram with a caption saying, "When you sit down and put your mind to it, anything is possible." But clearly behind the scenes, there was pressure on Big U. He would make a post at the start of March, seemingly angry about people coming to him with negative questions and saying that he wants people to keep him out of silly stuff, notably with the comments turned off. He'd post more cryptic statements to Instagram, like this one that says that he respects any man who can heal a heart that he didn't break and raise a child that he didn't make. Perhaps a coded admission of failure, alluding to efforts to help Ray Sean with his football coaching and a rap career that ultimately he didn't have the patience to complete. The later criminal complaint would recount a recorded conversation where Big U allegedly seemed to allude to killing a kid who disrespected him and calling out people who thought he was retired. Ultimately, Big U might have just made the biggest mistake of his life, but it would be years before people truly found out all the sordid details of this deadly case. And in those years, not only did more extortion and pressing take place, but the chaos of LA streets would find its way to the podcast world, culminating in a dramatic downfall as several high-profile social media figures slowly pieced together the details of this murder and aired it out on podcasts for the whole world to hear, until finally the Fed stepped in and brought things to an explosive end. Ultimately, the feds were on Big U for several years before they finally closed in, and he no doubt knew something bad was coming. On the 2-year anniversary of Ray Sean Williams' murder, North Las Vegas Police Department agents visited Big U's home, but he wasn't there. His wife then called him on his father's phone to warn him, with Big U sounding notably shaken, and then opting to stay away from home for a couple of weeks, something apparently out of the ordinary for his usual routine. Apparently the cops and the FBI tried to contact a number of people involved in the case, and every time Big U was one step ahead, even tampering with witnesses and attempting to make sure their statements were not incriminating. Big U was being surveilled heavily in the lead up to the arrests. The criminal complaint would break down details of all the times that Big U was recorded, bragging about using violence and fear to control his communities. And he would seemingly be pulled over and served a warrant for his DNA sample in the summer of 2023. In the lead up to the arrest, as 600 and whack begun circulating the rumors of this case getting serious, Big U took to social media to say that the allegations were untrue and that people blame Big U for everything, alluding to new rumors that he was involved in the murder of Fats, Nipsey's best friend.
Don't worry about this, man. Y'all gotta understand, man. People gonna talk. These lanes make money off of using Big U name. But one thing is for certain, right? Everything they say Big U did it, man. They got me doing so much. I don't even know what. Then I didn't do it.
Got you a whole bunch of different places at one time.
At one time. They say, y'all, you know, it's another new one too. I got into it with Fats. Let me give y'all the information on it. I ain't never got into it with Fats. Fats is my long homeboy. Ever in my life, me and Fats ever got into it with nobody. Never. Ever. You really stupid. You really. It's the biggest selling name on the West Coast. You got to say Big U name. You want to sell something, Big U. They want to do something, Big U. They want to do Big U. Big U. Y'all don't get that yet?
But it was on the 17th of March 2025 when the music would finally stop and the feds would close in on Big U and the Rollin 60's. A huge 107-page criminal complaint would be filed outlining the sordid details of Big U's alleged criminal empire that had terrorized LA for years. And 2 days later, arrests would be taking place. The operation, called Operation Drawdown, no doubt titled to make a tongue-in-cheek reference to the downfall of Draws, aka Big U, was announced by the LA District Attorney and the FBI in a press conference that described Big U as a career criminal.
Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise, an enterprise engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, COVID fraud. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement.
The DA would even reveal that they had been following Big U's podcast activities as part of the investigation.
Here, as I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rollin 60's. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture of the internet talk shows, and podcasts. All things that law enforcement had looked at closely as part of this investigation.
The criminal complaint was surprisingly comprehensive and revealed that the feds had been looking into the case since February 2021, just a week after the murder of Rayshawn Williams, describing Big U as the leader of the Rollin 60's Crips, running it as a mafia-like organization. It used wiretaps, planted cameras, cell site information, as well as search warrants of social media, iCloud and Google accounts, and financial records belonging to those involved in the alleged conspiracy, even using undercover agents to buy guns and drugs from people involved in the conspiracy. Big U, Loose Cannon, and even Brick Baby, who wasn't even named as a defendant in the complaint, had their phones tapped by the feds, and hidden cameras and bugged microphones were even planted at locations that they were known to visit. The criminal complaint even claimed that Big U and the gang were using podcasts and online documentaries, as well as interviews to make the public fear the Big U enterprise. Shout out to the FBI agent that's getting paid to watch this one. Thank you for your service. And the feds would even directly cite comments made on the No Jumper podcast as evidence. It was also stated that while Brick Baby wasn't a main defendant in the Operation Drawdown, he had a separate sealed indictment pending for a different case. Brick Baby's indictment revealed 2 counts for illegally having guns and bullets, one of these incidents allegedly taking place on the 12th of June 2022, when Brick would reportedly shoot a 9mm handgun in the parking lot of a business, with a second incident taking place on the 23rd of June 2023, when Brick would be arrested by the LAPD, who allegedly found him with 3 guns and more than 130 bullets, and since some weapons and ammunition may have come out of state, this immediately triggered federal charges. The paperwork would also show Brick's earlier criminal history at the time of this arrest, ranging from 2010 to 2020, including reckless evading, 2 counts of possession of controlled substances, criminal threats, and robbery. Hey, who said Brick ain't got a rap sheet, huh? And while Brick would not be charged on the Big U RICO case, the feds would note that Brick's case may be related, as it arises out of the same conspiracy. It would be revealed in news reports that hundreds of agents had executed simultaneous arrests targeting 19 defendants identified in the case.
Now, this morning, hundreds of agents and officers, including multiple SWAT teams, executed multiple arrest warrants for many of the 19 defendants charged in this case. Search warrants were executed at 6 locations. Those searches continue to be underway. 4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives.
Approximately 10 defendants were arrested, including Loose Cannon and Brick Baby, with footage of Loose's arrest being filmed by his wife circulating online. But interestingly, at the press conference, it was announced that Big U was a fugitive and was still at large, despite the criminal complaint and pending charges.
Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement.
The news would continue to report on the arrest, proudly showing collages of those targeted. Big U had been on the run and released a statement saying that he was with his family and planning to turn himself in, as well as suggesting that the case against him wasn't true and that he was just being hunted for helping black people.
This is my last video before I turn myself in.
Wow, what a joke.
I'm with my family. Talk to my sons, I talk to everybody, man. I'm just saying,
Black people.
gonna deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is quagmire. So, I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to, I don't even know what to say. Now, in 21 years, I've elevated my family, come back, and right and do what I need to do until I can come back home. People are supposed to help me. I hope you help me. If you can't, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love and I appreciate people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
First Street, it might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all.
Big U would then take to social media once again to elaborate further on his feelings, firstly denying stealing money from developing options and claiming that the money he took was simply a salary that he used to pay his bills and feed his family.
I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option for some front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family, the money I made from as an employee for development option. I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't use no fraud. I didn't give none of fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for it. I filed my taxes and them coming around telling me I was using development option as a cover. Cover for what? None of that's going to be true.
He would go on to claim that of the over dozen co-defendants in the case, many he doesn't even talk to.
The government putting this big picture, they're going to arrest 21 dudes. Some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about.
Big U sounded defeated in these clips and told followers to pray for him, reflecting on all his achievements that he had made over his last 21 years of freedom.
It is what it is. Church, just pray for me. Pray for me, pray for my family. You look at what we did. You look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over, though.
Big U would go on to say that he doesn't talk to any of the other people arrested and that the cops might as well arrest 600 and Wack since they're including his so-called enemies.
And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you going to arrest people that I don't even talk to? Everybody know I don't with Cannon. Everybody know I'm with Brick Baby. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them is the dudes you going to have that call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turning against me. You might as well go get
several murders. This dude can give up to get himself out of them, and one of them is a well-known murder that took place of a family in LA, and it's the nigga from the Rollin 60's. He talking about his brother's locked up right now. He didn't do it. Man, what's that? He hooked up with Wack 100. I can't remember that dude's name right now. But when I first heard that story, Big U is part of that case. And he's got away with murder of a family, innocent man locked up right now. And one of the other niggas, Peter Wack, won't say who really did it. That's why they still praising him. But that murder, right? That's Big. So Big U, he could take down a lot of other them niggas with an old school. Them niggas know Big U got a lot of cards to play right now, and he definitely will do it. See, I see some Alpo in this nigga eyes right here. This nigga is not above. Remember, Alpo had that mentality. He a gangster. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. Big, you got that mentality, nigga. He don't give a fuck if nobody say he no rat. He want out. That's it.
600 and Wack.
Big U even accused 600 of waiting outside of his house with the police to watch the raid, a response to the fact that he'd reposted footage from the raid on his socials.
One of us, it ain't nobody safe with these dudes. If these dudes feel like want you, how they going around talking about somebody's gonna raid my house before my house get raided? How they there with the police? 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. He's actually got video and footage of it, so y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff.
Elsewhere, Big U would also suggest that whoever takes his spot as the leader of the 60s community movement must be working with Wack 100 to take that spot.
But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. And I got this last thing to say. Wack said he's gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wack. Believe that. So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is.
Big U went on to blame Wack for working with the FBI to try and take away his government funding.
100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI.
That's the most disgusting thing out of all of this. Nigga, you killed that little youngster, nigga, for no reason at all. You killed that youngster who loved you and respected you because some disses or whatever, nigga. But you didn't kill Wack, nigga. Now you whine about Wack 100 while you going to jail, nigga. If you don't go to jail, nigga, you should have hit Wack. He gonna have to live with that, but he won't out. You have to live with that, nigga. Wack. Well, you could have put a hit on him, nigga. You didn't. You killed the kid.
Went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody.
Now, Big U calling out people shutting him down and saying they were scaring and intimidating people was pretty hypocritical. But from here, he would continue to pull the race card and claim that the FBI are trying to shut down black men doing right by their communities.
Trouble.
too scared to pull that shit on the Mexicans in LA. That's why when niggas say this nigga was the king of LA, you a nigga telling lies, nigga. This nigga was doing that shit to black people. He never pulled that shit on them Aryans that's in LA. The Aryans in LA too. The white people, the Mexicans is definitely in LA. He didn't do that shit to them because he knew better. He only could get away with that shit. And the FBI know that. So all that boogeyman shit, yeah, to black people, he can pull that shit on. He was not a threat to the motherfucking Vatos who was terrorizing black people with race wars, killing black people, running them out of projects. That's it, putting green lights on them. But they let this nigga make it because he stayed out of their motherfucking business and never played tough with them.
Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You're just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they go on the internet and do what they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy.
Now, it's this sort of thing that made Big U so dangerous, allegedly harming his own community under the guise of helping it and then hiding behind the race card when accountability came knocking. But ultimately, the facade had now been destroyed. The news would report on Big U going into FBI custody, describing him like a mob boss.
With breaking news, this just in, the FBI says that South LA crime boss Eugene Big U Henley is now in custody. Authorities say he ran a mafia-like organization while masquerading as a music mogul and gang peacemaker.
Some would report that the DA handling the case was looking at connections between Big U and Nipsey's murder as well. All this crazy news sent the podcast media space into a frenzy. A No Jumper news episode discussing the latest news went mega viral, reaching over 15,000 live viewers and racking up hundreds of thousands of views. Funnily enough, during a segment on the show while WAC 100 was calling in, the full criminal complaint dropped online. I actually read this immediately and even sent Adam 22
The Olympics is coming to LA in 2018, I think. They had to get rid of niggas like him. It's all kind of indictments and gang sweeps going throughout LA right now. A lot of they got Mexicans getting busted, whites, they clean up there today, but they definitely get a nigga like that. Because they already knew. When the police came out 2-3 years ago and said they can't protect you if you come to the Super Bowl. That's what the police chief and all them people were saying in LA. That was disgusting, bro. Telling people, hey, if you come to the Super Bowl, we cannot protect you. Because people like Big U, they couldn't protect you from people like Big U. That's serious motherfucking business, man. So they're like, we got to get rid of this dude. He definitely going to put the extortion down during the Olympics.
Number of screenshots of details that related to No Jumper and his podcast shows, including the show with WAC, as well as the section about WAC being confronted by the Rolling 60's at the show at the Novo. In response to this, Big U's nephew, Tiny Draws, would post about the podcast saying that those people don't do anything for their communities and are snitches. The news sparked a raucous debate which went far beyond the...
We laughed, we joked, the Rolling 60's, they say they swung at him. Yes, J-Rock dropped him for Nipsey Hussle. Let's separate the two. J-Rock bodyguard, you go on the internet and you see the video WAC get up to, oh man, he don't feed me, we gotta get down where he at. Everybody saying he gone, OG WAC like, man, he don't feed me, he knocked me out. That wasn't for Big U. That was for talking down on Nipsey Hussle. Completely opposite thing. The Rolling 60 said they confronted him at gang concert. One of them said it, Tiny Draws, what a fucking name. Tiny Draws that he hit him on the head or something. Anyway, WAC escaped. Nothing. Face was untouched. Yeah. And the kid got killed from the Rolling. See, these niggas got to take that. They didn't do shit to WAC 100, nigga. You didn't do nothing to WAC, nigga. Period.
On the walls of No Jumper. On social media, an apparent public hit was put on Christopher Lovejoy and Loose Cannon, and WAC 100 would claim that Brick and Big U were named in a sealed court file tied to a case against the New Jersey Rollin 60's, a case that led to the battle rapper Sue Surf being sentenced to 5 years in prison.
In Jersey.
What did Brick ever have to do with that? Do you think Brick is in some way
Big U too? He had a sealed file, the exposures, prints, lavish, pulled it up, we tracked the case number back to Sue Surf now. First, we thought it was some dirt. It's not dirt. He got a sealed file, dope case, New Jersey. It's the same.
Now he not lying about
indictment. This is Sue Surfing. I know it is.
On the 26th of March 2025, a full indictment would be returned from a California grand jury, which formally charged Big U, Bear Claw, Loose Cannon, and two others with
the niggas in New Jersey did get bust under Big U watch, nigga. That's true. So he not lying about that.
litany of crimes. This reiterated the claims made in the prior criminal complaint, as well as
Just
provided
like
several...
Big U said out his own mouth, when Nipsey really stopped fucking with him, stopped trusting him, when they got busted on that tour bus, his drugs and shit on that tour bus, nigga. Nipsey didn't know no drugs on that tour bus, nigga. He on the road, nigga. They rapping, nigga. Big U put them drugs in that tour bus. His partner, they smuggling drugs and shit. Nipsey trying to rap, and then they got away from Big U. And Big U said that, like, man, they didn't trust me. Fuck no, they didn't trust you, nigga. You doing scandalous ass shit, nigga. Finna get everybody wrapped up. Then you not on the tour bus when the tour bus get popped. Come on, bro.
Several new key details and pieces of evidence that gave more insights into the alleged crimes committed, like pictures of the scene where Rayshawn Williams' body was found, or interesting details like the fact that Big U left the subpoena and a baseball hat associated with the Rollin 60's behind for the feds to find after they raided his home, and that Big U's social media messages while on the run were now being included as overt acts as part of the racketeering conspiracy. Sadly, it's not looking good for the Rollin 60 neighborhood Crips, especially Big U. In conclusion, it seems that Big U was perhaps one of the most infamous and feared Crips in LA history. No doubt he truly did run Los Angeles in a sense. Nothing could happen in the streets without him having a say, and if the indictment is to be believed, this was truly a dangerous man, willing...
That's not true. That's not true. He did not run Los Angeles. He ran a strong parts of the hip-hop and black community, black actors, black rappers, black football players. He didn't run shit that got to do with the Mexicans. We got to stop saying that shit, bro. He didn't run shit, nigga. He never in his life, outside of prison, said one thing to the motherfucking Mexicans about what they was doing in Los Angeles, as racist as they is. No, he did not run LA. That's a big time lie. The Mexicans got real extortion plots going on. They didn't have no time. They was worried about extorting no rappers. That was all belong to Suge Knight and the Bloods and the Crips. But the fuck no, this nigga never ran no motherfucking LA, nigga. The Mexicans doing whatever the fuck they want. This nigga couldn't do nothing, never tried to do nothing about it.
Ready to kill at the slightest violation, a predator, preying on the weak and extorting those who were scared of his reputation with threats of violence that the whole city knew he was willing to follow through on. But really, this is also the story of a sick individual. I can't imagine how twisted someone would have to be to murder one of their son's childhood friends, one that they had personally coached in football as a child, no less. If these allegations are true, then we're dealing with a very dangerous person who put zero value on human life and was willing to kill a child they had seen grow up over something as trivial as a diss song or wasted studio time. That's one of the most dark and twisted things I have ever heard in a gang case. And if it's proven in court, then there's no doubt that Big U won't be seeing the streets again. But in Big U's defense, even though the criminal complaint paints a damning picture of the double life he was living, we can't necessarily overlook the actual good that he did do for his community. Although there's accusations that Big U scams may have reached all the way to the kids' toy drives, you can't remove all the toys, gym equipment, and other stuff that his organization did manage to donate to kids in need, or the countless hours that he personally dedicated to do something positive for the youth in his community. But then again, does that make it worse? Were the positive things Big U did in fact do for his community genuine efforts by a flawed gangster to take the right path? Or are these also just calculated moves of a manipulative mastermind who masterfully used positive acts as a method to mystify and cloak a dark empire of murder and extortion? We'll have to see how this case plays out in court, but the sad truth is, if these allegations are true, the man who was doing the most for his community was also doing the most damage to it. Ultimately, sometimes it seems like the image that people try and portray can say more about what they're pretending to be rather than what they really are. I hope that Big U can get a fair and speedy trial. And if there's one thing that I've learned from this story, it's that if you are going to be part of a murderous gang conspiracy, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't do any podcasts.
Big U created a nonprofit organization called Developing Options. But what he didn't tell you is he was developing options on how you want to be extorted, legally or illegally. Have it your way, like Burger King.
May I help you, sir?
Corrupt said, yeah, let me get a number one legally without getting my ass beat weekly. Because SKG recently exposed Big U has been extorting him this whole time. She said one night, Corrupt made the girls all pause when Big U beat him so bad he started calling out names. But Corrupt is not the only one he's legally extorting. When I say legally, even though it's illegal, I'm talking about donations through Developing Options. Because in the RICO indictment, it exposes Big U take the donation donations and transferred them directly to his personal account. See, he used developing options as a front cover. And if you're a celebrity and come across his path, you better believe he's gonna have a charity set up just for you. And if you don't donate, you're gonna see the inspiration for the character Debo come out.
People who know me know I'm hard on people who so-called made it and not giving back. If you can go to the club and spend $80,000 on bottles, and you can spend $10,000 to go in the club, but you haven't done nothing to help the neighborhood. You know, this young man just gave out 500 pair of tennis shoes.
Hold up, let's do the math. 500 pairs of tennis shoes. Let's say it's $100 a pair. That's a $50,000 donation.
And he about to give out another 500 pair of tennis shoes.
Man, the look on Chris Brown's face, you can tell Big U just came up with that, and this is the first time he hearing it. Chris said, "It's Big U on the flow. If he is, let him know," so he could run it. And he's been a Pyru ever since. And Big U does not discriminate. If you are rolling 60s, you automatically gonna get targeted. But if you're in LA at a celebrity event, don't look him in his eyes. See right here, Ludacris is trying his best. Luda, when he look away, roll out. Because you seen what happened to Tip. He's been extorting him so long, he probably thought whatever you like was written for him.
Shit, I can't. So you just refusing to pay your bill?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm just not gonna allow you to videotape me as I pay you. I would not sign a release for any of the footage you're trying to fix.
And you know he caught Wiz Khalifa too. I bet you he wishes he never see Big U again.
Stop with your breathing. 15 more. That's 100.
Hey, and one thing LA love is making the out-of-town celebrity do push-ups. This the funniest shit to them. See, Nipsey already caught on to Big U. Every time he ran into Big U, he turned around and kept it rolling. Leave it, stupid. See, Big U is persistent. Love making celebrities feel bad if they don't donate, and he won't stop until they give in.
Cause you know he always big. Cause you know he always big. Cause you know he always big. I'ma support you, baby. I'ma support you. I'ma support
you. And Big U is.
But he's a father figure. He's a man of the community. He has donated for the last 5 years. He has donated every year to the organization. He, I think he gave us $25,000 last year for the football organization. In the terms of we bought football jerseys, uniforms. He paid for our field. He's performed 2 times for us a year for the football program.
God damn.
He
taxing the shit out.
By far, he's done far more for the Crenshaw community than any person up to date.
Man, TS BS. Discrediting everything Nipsey done for the community just because Wiz donated to your pockets more? I bet that's how he got to Nip. And once he do, oh man, this is when he become most creative. He'll come up with a charity event for any reason. Hey, and remember, he was bragging about giving Nip his only award.
And all of them. And I'm the only one to give him
man,
award.
By the way, Big U made it sound, I thought they was honoring Nipsey like he was the man of the show.
And who gave him his only award? Living. How we beefing?
That's right.
Cardi, I was doing a award show. Nip, I'm finna honor you. I'm the one who gave him that.
Big Draw forgot to mention he gave an award to anybody that donated. And Wiz got a higher award than Nipsey. And I think he used the name generator. Look at what Corrupt got, a Keep It Hood award. What's even crazier is he saved the best awards for himself. And he got 3 of them. Big U got the Uncle of the Century award, along with the Coach of the Century Heisman. And he also got the Most Valuable Uncle Award. Oh, nah, Big U different. How you sweep at your own award show? And Big U think everybody's slow but him. He'll take the donations and do the bare minimum. Rent out a hall, decorate the tables, provide some food, have one of the homies perform for free, give out Keep It Hood awards, and collect the bag. Then he act like he spent a lot of his own money so he can keep asking for more. And when Nipsey finally came back, he kept trying to run that play.
This for the bag. This is the squad. This is for the bag. You come looking for this bag?
gotta come through with this man.
But look at the caption though.
Big
Crenshaw
movie
Rams
gonna be
taking
good,
all
bro.
fades. We
They
got
make a
the
movie
bet
out of
from
this.
Nipsey Hussle, and we ready to trip cause BS got that new drip. And he said it was $150 fee per person. That's a high ass fee. But hold on though, Nip. We gotta eat too.
Whole lot of money, whole lot of time, whole lot of fun. And it's all I can get.
TSBS.
When I'm in paintballing. I'm in all over the country. I ain't eating none of that. Crenshaw Rams, baby. We're gonna drip all summer
Not
long.
me.
We're planning our next banquet.
Damn, already?
I think we're gonna do
That man would have left the streets alone, bro. He could have had it all.
I'm coming as Bumpy
Could leave the streets alone.
The uncle said he wanted to throw a developing options charity banquet with a 70s gangster twist where he's coming as Bumpy Johnson. Man, the same one that flourished because he was a master at robbery, extortion, and pimping? Nah, LA, this is your AR-AB for sure.
We had all the kids in the 70s outfit.
For what?
Maybe.
And look at the caption though. In my free time with these babies and younger people, I love to put a smile on their face. Shoot, I'm gonna need a loan now. This Crenshaw fund is killing my pockets. I have to say thank you, Nipsey Hussle, for making these last 2 weekends happen for the team. Your money is working for the kids. We have one more weekend. When can you come? So Nipsey paid for 3 weekends. And he's already announcing the next banquet. Man, no matter how much Nip give, it's just never enough. I think Nip finally told Big U this developing options donation marathon is over. The course is done. Because the next month, Big U's attitude changed completely.
Just because you made it don't mean you made it. You know what I mean? Keep it 100. I'm going to give you this message. Real talk. I watched it lose $1 billion. I like my brother Suge Knight. I watched them travel the country. I like all the artists that have been rich and travel the country. I watched motherfuckers come and go in this business. I watched get bags, hit houses, get $1 million and be broke. I watched motherfuckers make 15, 16 million and be broke. What you need to do is be careful who you stepping on your way up. In a what they say, early rise, early to get tired. Why niggas do working and working a steady grind is grinding and fully getting it. Self-preservation don't happen in one minute or one decision. It's hard work. Come fast.
See, you can tell Big U get jealous easily, and dropping this pic ain't help either. It looked like it's nothing but millionaires and billionaires. I mean, I could tell Big U was hating, because only 3 months after this, he was tripping on Nipsey bringing Khaled to the hood, even after all those donations.
You know, not to get into too much detail, but there was a lot of bit politics getting into certain people.
That's not donation. Those are taxes.
Not to be speaking too much on shit, but we came frontline like we always do. And, you know, niggas gonna know we gonna crash out behind it. We not playing. Ain't nobody saying nothing to Khaled. Ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled. And he's straight and hustle. Frontline that. And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
Sam, we know it's anybody killer. You don't gotta hide it no more. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Crenshaw, something really wrong with Big U. This man's not right in the head. But hey, hell of an actor though. He tell all his lies with a straight face. Check out this line of Big U begging for donations after Nipsey died. And in the name of Nipsey. And he's telling people don't buy from the Marathon store because it's not helping the kids.
I just put up a post a couple of days ago. Talking about how we trying to get all these young brothers and sisters prom dresses and prom dresses, shirts, and all suits and all that. Ain't none of these celebrities came in support. Ain't none of these fake ass bourgeoisie that was just hollering Nip name, offered to do nothing. You know, we got a couple of people that's coming to the top. Their hair is done, their makeup done, and all that. This is what I did on my own. No, let me take that back. Elliot Grains helped us. And Wiz, Elliot Grains, and P from Wack helped too. Shouts out to Wack 100. He helped too. couple people helped with the giveaway for the suits, you know what I mean?
Money do you want?
But right now, we're trying to do the same thing for the kids at the high
You know
school.
what I'm saying? That probably been enough, nigga. Then what you got from the city?
You know what I mean? We got all these people that came up, you know, they really was just cloud chasing on my little kid name, you know. You want to wear Crenshaw across your chest, but that's not going to the kids. That's ownership. That's going to their business, to the Marathon store. That money don't go to the kids of Crenshaw. You want to help the kids of Crenshaw, you got to do something that's directly help the kids of Crenshaw.
No, you got to give it to you.
Help this community, you got to do that.
Helping you.
You know what I
Man,
mean?
y'all let Big U be an activist extortionist. And he old as hell. He be moving like it's still the 80s. I mean, you could play with the man if you want to, but if you say no to his checking in, it could get spooky. R.I.P. P&B Rock, but he thought he didn't have to check in. He thought his own protection was good enough.
2 different times before Roddy Ricch was even like super heavy. It was like, damn, bro, you just came out here like it was me and him. Me and him went to the projects. He like, bro, like you ain't got no security and none of that. And it's like, bro, I got security, but I don't got security. You feel me? Like, I be on my shit too, you feel me?
And what was shocking was that Luce exposed that Luce and Big U was there for P&B Rock's murder robbery.
I felt it was like super messed up because at the end of the day, it was me and Big Useless in there when it happened. So when it happened, I wish I could have just told him like, bro, just give up the jury and we get it back to you later. But it just happened so fast and he wasn't cooperating. And that's when they took it off of him by force. You get what I'm saying? Give it up and then check in with the real people. So we're going to find a jury and we're going to get it because we know all the pawn shops, we know all the people that's going to melt it down and everything like that. So as soon as it comes on their table, we got it. Okay, get it, go in that back room, make that phone call.
And he caught T.I.'s son there one day. Man, Big U said he's here so often, it's like the activist extortionist office. He said, get your ass out of here before our Cardinals don't get paid.
Well, Tip's son. He got Tip's son. Okay. And they had they on the east end.
When Big U came home from prison, Suge Knight gave him this check-in game. You see, that's what they was talking. Rappers, ball players, that was the main ones. If you in the entertainment business and you come to LA, you have to check in with the Bloods or the Crips. You see, Wack double cross Suge after Suge gave him the game, and then he was doing it for the Bloods, and Big U was doing it for the Crips. But see, then Wack and Big U started fighting, but Big U had more credibility and more people would sign with him than Wack 100. Bust ass, especially when Suge went to jail. Wack didn't like that.
At Roscoe's. They on the east side of Roscoe's. I walk in Roscoe's on some different business because some other shit didn't happen. And I come in there to take care of some other business with some weed. It ain't no nice business. Right. I walk in Roscoe's, he in there with T.I.'s son. Wow. And T.I.'s little son on the and I'm like, what the f is y'all doing here? I called Tip. I said, what Nephew and them doing here? Right. They don't have no clue where they at. Where they at? Yeah. They just there. Right. They thinking it's Roscoe's. You at the wrong Roscoe's. There's 3 more Roscoe's. Go to the ones, either the one by my neighborhood or the one in Hollywood. If they at the wrong, but they at the wrong Roscoe's. Which one is the wrong? All of them. The one on Pico. No, they on the east side. Oh, okay. You gotta call Magic. Right. But what I'm saying is, this is our babies. Right. So if he get into it with something, he ain't got to call me. It's going to be my problem regardless. Right. But he in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now all the dudes out there looking like, I had to tell Nephew. I said, man, I called his daddy. I said, man, don't be just running around here all like this.
Well, Big U reacted to P&B Rock's death on the Nothing to Something podcast, and his reaction was so cold, it made it to the Big U RICO indictment.
The United States of America and all these countries have what is called airspace. If you invade their airspace with a plane, they consider that an act of war. If you want to come in their airspace, you're going to check in. You can choose not to, and it's going to be a problem. If dudes come and you move it in a certain way, if you choose not to check in, suffer the consequences. You figure like you got something that's bigger than
But
yours.
R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan, he told a chilling story on how they tried to do him like P&B Rock. And from then on, he had to check in.
Him and Wack talking. And in my mind, I'm like, I thought it was blood versus Crip. They here talking, having a conversation.
Right.
So my mind, it's my first time going out there. He was like, yeah, man, we knew what time you landed. I was like, oh, yeah, it's different. He was like, yeah, you over there, you in the hotel room, Then what you call it, get your bag, ain't your driver? I was like, oh, yeah, different. So at the same time, I say that to say, that checking should be real.
And Quando Rondo is another example of not checking in. And Big U had an evil look when he responded to it. It looked like he was listening to a Whack 100 clubhouse room.
Then they call him. Like Quando Rondo. I just showed Envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number. You could have called me. You could have did all that. You know what I mean? But he was around about. But how is that fair to me? How is that fair to our team?
Speaking of Quando Rondo, allegedly Brick Baby might have had some involvement in all that. I don't know. And it might have involved Big U with the back door. I don't know. That's the word on the YouTube streets. But around this time, boy, Brick was getting money. How could we tell? Because he was showing it.
Man. You know, saying got the cleanest for the money you brought. They didn't tell you what you were licking at. You do it with your hands when you touch this. It's the brick, man. Come count.
And you give him money, Big U could smell it like blood to a vampire. He popped up immediately. And this takes me to the illegal part of his extortion, where he get a cut of all the illegal street activities. Because on the Big U RICO indictment on the wiretap, said Brick hit a lick that ended up being a plug. But Big U demanded a percentage of that. When they counted the money, it was only $2,000 or $3,000. They said it should have been more than that. But I think this is Big U's entry on the extortion of Brick Baby. Because since then, he was getting harassed by 6 O's.
Texas State.
All right, freedom scores on here, cuz. So if you don't come to the hood, read my home plate is 15,000. We come to no jumper. We ain't trying to do no interview.
And it was from the group he was rocking with. Because the man can't even post a $50 giveaway.
Yeah, man, it's the big break, not the little one, man. And I'm giving my fans, it's a fan giveaway. If y'all find my hit-ups around the city, y'all got to take a picture of them. Hit me. I'm going to cash app you $50. You know what I'm saying? Every fan that can find the hit-up. And it's 2 per location. But only 1 person can win per hit-up. So if y'all know where I'm at an Arco. Somewhere in the valley. I gave y'all the turnaround. I can't give y'all everything, but one of my fans said, take a picture in front of it, tag me, it's Brick, man. You already know, don't see late.
Without breathing on him. Big U even popped in the comments and said, how about just give me a loan, interest free? As a matter of fact, it's a PPP. We don't need to pay it back loan. And another 6O member responded, stop passing out money when you in debt with the gang. And who just happens to be in the same IG post as him? The activist extortionist, Big U. Nah, this man's diabolical. Did you know Big U started his nonprofit organization while he was still serving time in prison? The original name of it was the Ex-Offender Fellowship Network. But after he got out, saw the city giving out grants for youth gang prevention up to 6 and 7 figures. That's when he changed the Ex-Offender Fellowship Network to the Active Extortion Manipulation Foundation, aka Developing Options. Oh yeah, Big U was not playing with the extortion game. He ran it like a high-end business, kind of like a Costco's. Because if you're from out of town coming to LA, oh, you need your membership. And Big U had a long list of members, one of them being Sean Kingston. When Sean Kingston landed in LA, Big U caught him right away. Said, Sean, I heard you want to go to the slums where the killers get hung. Let me take you there. Sean came to LA because he heard there was beautiful girls. But the way Big U was on him, I know he was suicidal. Because Big U showed up to every studio session.
I'm finna doze off in the studio. Work. This is work.
Now they can get a little rest.
He just said that while sleeping on the couch.
Miles, where you at? Word miles.
And if Sean went to the club, so did Big U. Oh, you VIP, Sean? Big U is too. See, Big U is about 30 years older. You would think he would be done after the club. But as long as Sean's hanging out, Big U got work to do. Oh, you said Post Malone coming. Unc said I'm working overtime tonight.
Oh, see what it is. You need music, time is money. I'm just like, Post, where you at, man? Post, see what's going on. Post Malone catching the murder. That way. Long way. Yeah. Big U, big on the phone call. Who? You. Yeah. That way. It's late. That way.
What the hell? They too young, man. They young. They having fun. They balling. God damn it. Young and having fun, man. Young and having fun. Young and having fun.
Yeah.
You did.
What's up, boy? With the too. You already know what's going down. Young murder this bitch, you know what I'm saying? I got the kid. Lifestyle. Yeah.
Murder beats.
Yeah.
That way.
On
the top.
Murder She-Wrote.
Right here, Post thinking, I fall apart. Cause Big U staring at him like Wagyu steak after fasting the whole day during Ramadan. Oh, you thought you was gonna come through White Irish song, saucing and balling on Big U? Well, congratulations, cause now you got a chicken every time, even if you on vacation. This why Big U love being around Sean Kingston. Sean give the Big U Enterprise the best referrals. One night he might be with Post Malone drinking Bud Light all night. Next day, as soon as he hop up out the bed and turn his headset on, he sees Soulja Boy and Sean Kingston bird walking in the kitchen. See, Big U got no business being around these kids. They share no common interests, and this is how he plays with them. Sean looked like he need an incredible diaper on right now. But that's funny to Big U. But Big U still got business to do with Soulja Boy. He said that song you did, you used my name, nephew. Now I'ma watch you give me a donation.
Happy birthday. On my birthday, we doing business.
Jet Li nervous as hell.
That's how I do it. Right here. You did? Yeah, it is.
Big U think this is China
It's
Man.
November 30th now. No longer November 29th. So that means we doing business. You did?
Yeah.
We doing this up.
Hey, man, say, man. You already know what's going on. It's your boy, Soulja Boy. Happy birthday, Yeah.
Oh, you called me Unc on the first day me and you, huh? That's a donation.
And we doing business. And we doing business. Real business.
Yeah, that way. Big old business, Jack.
Real business, man. We ain't on that bull. On real business.
Easy money. You know what I'm saying? Easy money.
For Big U.
You did.
Soulja.
Big U like, yeah, easy money for me. Nigga.
Look out for that Superman.
Superman. Yeah, that way.
See, Soulja's smart. As soon as he said that way, when Big U looked, he went this way, towards Compton. And now Big Soulja from the hood.
They say Soulja came from the hood. Like, get off me, though. Oh, man, that's like me, though. What's happening?
I mean, sometimes, but Big U wasn't really tripping during that time. He had a long list. Another one of his favorites put gold on his wrist, gold on his watch, gold on his ring. If y'all don't believe me, watch how he did Trinidad James. I thought it was Nelly or Jermaine Dupri the way Big U was squeezing him. He barely had a hit. But he's been donating to Big U consecutively for over a decade. He had Trinidad James in every celebrity ball game like he was LeBron James.
Down here at Crenshaw High School, giving back to the kids, giving back to the community. We got helmets, gifts, jerseys, we got basketball games. We got
Supporting Crenshaw High School, Trinidad James coming through and supporting us in the basketball and football camp 2015.
What's up, baby? You about to get him this year, what?
Man, definitely, man. Shout out to the Crenshaw community.
I know Crenshaw was tired of seeing him. Probably kept asking where your gold at, because he went from all gold everything to no gold at all. Young Buck told Big U he wanted to ride with him. Big U said, what for? He said he just wanted to be down with 6-0.
I'm like, was he not with you? I said, okay. I said, girl, you don't want to go with me because if you ain't, he said, I got mine. What we on? On 6.
But Buck stopped coming around as much. Lou said it was cause he was like a dumb mechanic, cause he asked him about his brakes, but he kept staring at the transmission, if you know what I mean.
You was performing, and something caught your eye. And when it caught your eye, you start rapping to it. And I'm looking and I'm like, that's a man. So I tap Big Useless, like, cuz rapping to a man. How you know? What you mean how I know? You got an Adam's apple? It's 7 feet tall without heels.
Lou said you lying, he wasn't short. You know, for the right price, Big U let a lot of things go. And OT Genesis is a lot closer than Buck is. He's from Long Beach. But from South Central, Big U still think that's far from it, because OT Genesis is still checking in. He said those donation checks you need to cut it.
Yo, what's up? This OT Genesis. We in Long Beach right now, and I'm finna go check in on checking in. Big U.
And when Big U caught Nick Cannon, he said, nephew, you getting too much money. You getting paid like a gigolo, getting lots of dough. But developing options still need them donations, though. Need it every year, Nick, you got it. Don't be wildin', wildin', wildin'.
Greetings, everyone. It's Nick Cannon here. And my big bro, Big U, and his team at Developing Options are putting together an amazing night at the dance where you can see the unique ladies and so much more. Make sure you come out, get your tickets. It's going down. It's a beautiful cause. It's a beautiful thing for the community.
P.D. Pablo said he's gonna go to Crenshaw. Big U said you gotta pay us. Who? Us.
Yep. Devo. Goddamn, Devo, you ain't gonna like this.
I know. I turned my back. I gotta say.
He's gonna take this video down. What PD Block doing?
Wait. Come on. Stay live. Come on. Oh.
We're not live, homeboy.
Oh, you ain't live?
No, this recording. This going straight up. Where we going?
You're on this damn pull-up bar.
Oh, we going PD. Get on the pull-up bar. This dude finna do 5 pull-ups. We'll do a bet and see how many pull-ups PD can do. What happened?
It's locked in right there.
He locked in?
Yeah, he locked in, so.
Shit ain't locked in. Climb your ass over there. You gotta pull up anyway. You might as well pull up.
Right now, I know he want to spin it like a helicopter and go back to North Carolina. And this next one, I've been holding off, man. I didn't want to do this one. But we're not going to act like Unc didn't get Unc. Some of you sound like Mike Jones right now. Who? Man, we know who. His name is Snoop Doggy Dogg. Damn.
When they jump off the plane, they love the same way they gave us that love. We give it right back to them when they hear that light. It's a family thing. It's connection. Check in.
How can they shadow ban him though?
Yeah, they shadow ban me, big homie. That's why I gotta go on your live. They won't let me on Instagram. Y'all acting real funny right now, but it's cool.
You checking in?
I'm about to develop this Death Row app that's gonna shut all this shit down.
You heard it here first.
Now, I'm checking in right now. In case you don't know, you won't know. I'm checking in.
And he's been getting him since he got out. Big U said when he first got out, he was trying to get back on Snoop for sure. I guess they became lifelong friends after. He said he hopped out on the Bishop Down Magic 1 like he was Money Mike looking for Snoop.
Rupp finna do a show in Long Beach. Daz and them is sending out word that they gonna demo. So we ended up, me, Suge, I want to say shortstop, TD, aka TD, and somebody else. We are going to Hollywood. We jump out the car on Don Bishop Juan.
Him dude?
Him dude. And we jump out the car. John Juan Bishop Juan. I tell Don Juan, since Snoop a message, tell Snoop to call.
And Chi-Town stand up. Yeah, he got one of y'all too. As a matter of fact, he got the biggest fish out of the Chi. Kanye West, he said, I need you to hit that checkbook with them developing options, donations, before I really make it all fall down and have you spitting through the wire again.
Good ass conversation.
Kanye, what's the occasion that you're doing with the kids out here today, man? I've never seen you like this before.
Right here. Well, we meet with Big U.
Okay.
They gotta pay. Yo, okay. Big U, can you explain? Basically, he's got a football team.
Okay.
And a big program.
Yeah. What's
developing options? We've done everything with y'all already.
Okay.
Man, I know the celebrities with the long-term memberships had it rough. Sean Kingston started scamming just to keep up, and now he can't even afford bail. And I'm telling you, Big U was on him, no letting up. He was like the glove, Gary Payton in his prime. Everywhere they went, he went. He might be the reason why Wiz fell off. He was at every studio session just being a distraction, making them do push-ups.
You did 20 already.
That's 25. Oh no, that's 50. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did more than
Yeah. I owe you 50 more.
Trying to force a debate that Wiz cares nothing about.
Your personal feelings on the Steelers right now.
I mean, honestly,
they're shit right now.
We in some trouble.
Your personal feelings on the Steelers right now, sir.
Come on, man.
What happened to the rubber band man? Wild as a Taliban, but so quick to donate with both his hands. To Big U, anything Big U wanted, even if it costed G's, he would get it from tip, ASAP. From charity appearances and donating to sponsoring his birthday parties. I mean, anything he wanted from tip. He even did concerts for Big U and promoted it in person.
You know, the king came out to check the kids out.
They say, man, come check us out, man. July 8th, man. We're going to go all the way down, lit like a motherfucker. You did that in a minute.
Now, let's do it again, Tip, but this time I'm going to stand behind you like I'm extorting you.
Hey, man, Aloha Buzz on July 8th will bring you live. Yours truly. And this guy going to get up there and do his thing as well. You know what I mean? You got your routine together.
I'm just with developing out Aloha Buzz, T.I.
This can't be the same T.I. that went to Houston when he was beefing with Lil Flip, the same one that swung on Floyd Mayweather for disrespect. I guess he wasn't lying when he said, you don't know me. Because now he just letting Big U win bets all day so he don't feel like he's getting extorted.
You know, the thing is, we just set them again. We just set them back to back. One thing can I say, we're going back to back. Yeah. What's the truth?
That you didn't win the last game.
I just won that game, though.
You did just win that game.
With a blowout, right?
But you did not win the last one.
I won. Are you talking about last month, though?
No, that was.
You got to go to the Grand Tar Pits to get that. Called a comeback. Neighborhood's been here for years. Yeah, we came back and got it. Welcome, family. We came back and got it. LA's finest. LA's finest. We now have the lead in this game. We were also just bullied by these two. Her right there. And him right there.
Man,
we were, but we winning. We won. True. We just boasting that.
Lies.
But how we won then?
Man, you ran a yard on the fur hand, man.
Okay, we won that.
The walk of shame.
The walk of shame.
Man, T.I. could have avoided all of this if he knew to avoid this guy. And he might look a little silly, but he's dangerous. Because if you see Big U at a club and he sends this guy at you, it's over. They're going to be all in your section, drinking your drink.
I tell neighborhood. Down there.
Oh, you picking up a bag at a club appearance? Stay there too.
We up there on the train, watching Cleveland back there. Watching Cleveland back there.
Again, another horrible game for y'all.
Second game at home. Second game.
Oh, you rehearsing for a show tonight? You might need a little security. I'll be there too. Oh, you're performing my favorite song tonight. I'm near front row. Neighbors, you know when Big U throw that up, he really like it. I know someone to argue, man, they homies. It's friendly gambling and Big U just want to hang out. I mean, yeah, it sound good, but Reggie Wright already exposed that T.I. and Ludacris has been getting extorted since the Death Row days.
Oh, that came from Suge and Big U extorting some of y'all rappers on the South. That's all I'll say. T.I. and Ludacris. Y'all remember that fight?
But I know this. Big U from 60 Crips and Suge Knight, well, that's where that check-in turn started back in like 2008, 2007, 2009. T.I., Ludacris, all those just paying those to negotiate stuff that was happening on the West Coast.
They was paying for protection while they were here?
Or to check in, or to letting you know, or to saying that I'm having a problem with this dude or this person. Can y'all, make sure it go away? I remember a major thing with Ludacris and T.I. that was going on back in I was in the truck with Suge, and we saw Ludacris walking around, and she was like, look at that scary motherfucker right there. He was like, yeah, I just had to make sure it was cool for him to be walking around because
Luda, I told you to roll out, but you didn't want to leave. Now you gotta pay for use residency.
I really don't get a lot of money in music more than I get a lot of money around music. I might make $250,000 a year on music, but I make more of my money on doing other things outside of music. I was getting money and I was getting paid by everything in the city, damn near, if they was getting money. Right. So if he was getting money, he was already getting the bag. He was paying me $10,000 a month. I don't give a who you was.
Sick show, he ain't lying. This man was the Michael Jordan of extortions. But some are trying to say Big U was a petty extortionist because sometimes he would pick up $500 or $1,000.
Why you extorting as if you broke? How? Extorting them for peanuts?
Yeah, that's what he was. 500,000.
The Wack. The $1,000 was out of lunch, Wack. The $1,000 from the.
I say he was the best to ever do it because he was extorting everything moving. Yeah, it wasn't just rappers. He had comedians and actors too, like Mike Epps.
A man's them giving back. Just gonna tell you right now, let's put some respect on it.
The message was
They're doing this for the rapping
It looked like it. And when I said extorting everything, I meant it. That actor that played Debo, Tiny Lister, he said he got his inspiration from Big U.
People want to see that character. He's, I told you, I pulled that from Big U.
Big U said, F it, I'm going to extort him too.
Crenshaw, getting ready for the game. Got Debo. You did.
He damn near extorting himself. How you extort the movie version of you? Man, Big U probably wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and ask himself for a donation. And it wasn't just the movie version of him. He extorted the movie version of Whack 100 too.
In a serious game.
Big U said he had no skills or no clue on how to manage actors, but they loved Big U so much they wanted to pay him.
But do you think he trusted you to manage him because you knew what you were doing with the movie scene already?
Not at all. Not at all. He trusted me to manage him because he just wanted to help me.
Oh, word.
You know what I mean? It was no skills. It was nothing. I had no clue. You know what I mean?
Big U was extorting every category, music, comedy, movies, but he was probably the scariest in sports. The way he was treating these athletes, it made me believe every rumor about him. Man, look how he was treating Deshaun Jackson.
Remember I could back me down?
Here.
That's how I be balling with my little nephew. Physically, these guys are the biggest and strongest humans on earth, and Big U was just bullying them. Check out this clip with him and Lamar Woodley.
I should slap the shit out of this. I should slap the shit out of this when he's asleep. I always be talking about me falling asleep, but then this motherfucker fall asleep. Sit there like a big old stuffed baby. Look at this thing.
You know Lamar thinking, I swear to God, if you wasn't the leader of the 60s. And with these basketball players, he's just having his way. He on private jets with players like OJ Mayo.
On this private plane, this motherfucking airbag got shame on it.
Keep hitting that screen so we can see the feet, man.
The nephew.
Yeah, I almost went down, but we got a lot of them with us, huh? We're dead homies. We good, baby.
Man.
And I feel bad for Josh Smith. Big U extorted him his whole career, and he was not happy about it. You could see it in his face in every single pick from beginning to the end.
Going up, excitement, big gamble. What up, Jay Smooth? You did.
And Big U made Shaq do a podcast about checking in, and then made Shaq check in with a donation right after. Another player that had it bad as Josh Smith, Draymond Green, whole career. As a matter of fact, when he won the championship, Big U was there celebrating like he was part of the team, and he don't even like the Warriors. Man, I heard him saying the reason he knocked Jordan Poole out because he was tired of getting extorted for so long. And I'm telling you, Big U is in the Extortionist Hall of Fame. This man was putting up numbers like Will Chamberlain. He don't give a damn who it is. The Taco Man.
Definitely feel like a lot of people, they're happy. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and they're like, we are so happy that he went to jail. I mean, this morning someone reached out to me and told me that he was extorting the food vendors. And I'm like, what? They were like, yes, he was extorting the food vendors at Crenshaw High.
The weed man, the pizza man. This is the real Can Man. And speaking of Can Man, yep. Can Man too. We got something out of him too. Them loaded dices whack exposed J Prince Jr. on. Oh, he was running it up on these NBA players. Millions.
You and John Wall was playing dice one time, and you caught that for like 3 M's. They told me you beat John Wall in dice one time for millions. Is that fact or fiction? Because this is a reliable source that told me this too.
Listen.
This is a real that told me this.
Listen. It's truth to that, but it was dice and cards.
Well, he got it from J. Prince Jr. and brought it to L.A. When Big U heard about it, he looked at A.B. like he was Christopher Lovejoy in the backyard. What is he doing? I'm the only one doing extorting around here. I'd rather be extorted up front than that backdoor extortion like what happened to Gilly, because Gilly is the king of Philly, yes. But when the king of Philly came down to the S, even Big U made him down on the ground. Get down on the ground. Man, that ain't right.
He was definitely gassing about the whole Big U and Gilly thing, right?
Hell no, I ain't gassing. That wasn't me. Gilly's a too. He's a big triple. This other Lil Rosé from Rollin 60's, bro. He come in my room.
Wait. What happened though? What happened?
I'm gonna tell you what. Lil Rosé come in the room. Yo, Wack, what's up, man? Can I have the flow? Go ahead, homie. He started telling the story. I don't know nothing about this story. Wack wasn't there. He like, yeah, like, you know, you had to see your son brought you to the hood, and we pulled up, caught you and your son, y'all had on all your jewelry. We strip you. You don't know us when you use Big Q name. We didn't give a and told us y'all jewelry was worth 150, 160. We strip you and took that cash it in, and they brought your ass $20,000 back like we are bad. We cashed that shit in and cut it up. Right? They want to get mad at me. Hey, you weird ass. I wasn't there.
Wait.
This dude from Rollin 60's.
They think, wait. Gilly never got robbed, though.
Yeah, him and his son got stripped. They stripped him in the 60's. Big U lined they motherfucking ass up. They stripped him, took all their jewelry, and did it
came on the stage and said he did it, and then get mad at me like I did it. I ain't did it. I ain't do it. I wasn't there. You mad at me for?
So you're telling me that
got mad at me, bro?
Like Gilly official from Philly, man. Gilly not going like that.
Gilly, but that nigga had his hands up in the motherfucking air with his 2 kids. A father that couldn't protect his 2 kids. That's what he is. I told that, look, bro, don't be popping at me. Cause with another said that for Rollin 60 Crip for real. Everybody know that he is. He telling you, Big, you lined your punk ass up. Now, if you got your ass robbed over there, you and your kids, he said Nipsey went over there and gave him 20,000 because he felt bad for him.
Man, not only was Big U the extortionist champion of the world, this man was a tag team champion too. Before he was doing it with Suge Knight, but he also was tag team extorting with Trick Trick. Why the first time he met up with Trick Trick, Big U brought his extortion victims with him like he was the P going cross country. And Reggie Wright also said Whack 100 was a partner.
They didn't want to be getting extorted. Big U and Suge were out there, Whack 100 and all of them. Those was pulling up on everybody and making us pay.
Cool, Fig. Follow me.